And then another. 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 And then another.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, a covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my god, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the mythicals. We have it all. Monsters. Magic. Government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy. Ugh, gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew pew pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier. Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it, if you dare. Ugh, will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Like right now.
Sign up today on Indiegogo.
In the middle of the night, or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Watch this. Oh, hallelujah. Get up right now. I'm hearing something real powerful for someone. And now listen to this. Hallelujah. Sent that man that reaching out to hurting people. Hallelujah. This is what you do. Something more than it was. Yes. Listen to this right here. I heard then it was like the Lord spoke that through me then. Oh, there it is. Get up right now. There it is again. Hallelujah. Hands up. Sent that man that reaching out to hurting people. Hallelujah. This is what you do. Something more than it was. I like that, don't you? Make a vow. Make a vow. Amen. Make a vow. Hello. Make a vow. Get up right now. There it is again, so strong. Hallelujah. Oh yes. Sent that man that reaching out to hurting people. Hallelujah. This is what you do. Something more than it was. Amen.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
Good evening. Man, it's a fun night already.
I saw like everybody get down.
Everybody's getting down, man.
To the song,
Yeah.
except for Todd, who looked like he was having a staring contest with his camera,
This is
trying
Todd.
really hard not to. Yeah, the whole time trying really hard not to dance or something.
Like Mike Pence in your house every day.
I'm always doing like 12 things at one time. So
This is Mike Pence happy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Hey, have you guys seen this? Check this out.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Maya he, Maya ho, Maya ha, Maya ha, vrees de pleister, no my yay, no my yay, no my yay, keep on touchy, dragostadinte, mia min teste, o kitayay.
You ain't seen that one?
That's messed up.
And I know what country that was done in.
I feel like it's Belgium.
No, that was.
No, where was that?
South Africa.
Oh, that's South Africa? It's like,
because he's trying to sing in Dutch. Well, Afrikaans.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, dead giveaway.
Yeah, he did seem a little freaky deaky Dutch, didn't he? It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, goodness, golly. My goodness, my goodness.
Emotional, damn it!
Yep, that's what it was. Welcome, Blue Teddy. We got Ray Haylock and Todd from Red Shift Comics both in the chat and on the panel tonight. Seth is here to this evening. Welcome, welcome. Hojo is here. The rest of you, please feel free to comment and let us know you're here. We can see you in the back hiding. And but no, we're gonna have a good time tonight. Lot to talk about. We're going to be doing. Let me first start by saying this. We were going to do a live walkthrough of the dashboard, but in order to keep things on track, meetings had to happen for. Todd will explain it because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Something about money, right, Todd?
Yeah, PCI compliance.
Yeah, so they had to do audits, I guess, for this stuff. And every time Dave is the guy that is writing the code. He's the owner of Serendum. He's not having some intern write this thing. He's doing this thing himself, right? So he's doing it. But since he's the boss, so every time they had a question or had to do something with compliance, he had to get pulled off of it over the course of the last 24 hours or more. So the last 30 some hours, that's kind of been what he's been having to do. So in order to keep our track on track so that we can launch on the 16th and be able to take money, it's no use having a site up on the 16th if we can't take money, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? So in order to do that,
we don't want to take money. We're fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not what this thing is all about, right?
We'll take your money later.
Yeah, we just want to be your friends. Not really. I don't really care about that. So anyway, we're going to talk about some of those technical aspects, some of those details. We do have terms of service that we can go over. We have news on what countries we can that we can work with. We just got some good news on one of the countries that specifically asked to be in the bucket. They are in the bucket of names that we can fund with now. So we're going to go over all that tonight. So Thursday I'll do a stream where we're doing a live walkthrough of the creation process of a campaign. By that point, we'll have several other users in by that point as well, so that we can answer their questions. The next 2 to 3 weeks is going to be absolute mayhem. Dave did agree to do a live stream with us in a few weeks once things have calmed down. So you guys will know I'm not just making him up. Like he's not like my imaginary friend or something.
Yeah, he doesn't live in my basement.
Oh.
Hey.
Giving me an epileptic fit over here. What's going on?
Hey, so you want to know a stream that got more views than any of my streams? You want to see one?
Yeah. That stream got a bunch of super chats and everything.
Got super chats, yeah.
God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude, he made bank and he wasn't even there.
What did I miss?
That was an EVS chair stream.
He just, I think he would. What did it? How did it get? Like he just left. He forgot to turn the stream off, or
No, he didn't mean to turn the stream. He didn't mean to go live. I think that was when he was converting from like Hangouts to
StreamYard.
StreamYard, yeah. And he didn't know he was live. He thought he was just fixing stuff up, and then he went downstairs, and he found out eventually that he was live.
And that he was
or that his chair was live, and that he was
wasn't even on
making
stream.
money. Yeah, he didn't even know he was streaming.
Yeah, so I'm not salty about that. I'm salty about plenty of other things. I'm not salty about the fact that a chair can bring in a more viewed live stream than I can.
I remember after
that's
that,
okay. I'm in the same boat.
There was a guy running around there was an account on Twitter called EVS's Chair.
Yeah.
So someone needs to create that if it's not there already.
Yeah, like that'd be fun. Maybe I should do interviews as EVS's Chair. I don't know. I'm sure someone would make that sexual. We don't want to go there.
Yeah, no.
It's like, hey guys, listen.
I do the job. And then I get paid.
Do the job and then I get paid. That's what you do. Man, can you believe that guy though? That video we watched. I mean, you laugh. You know you're trying not to, and you're pretty sure you're going to hell when you do laugh at it. Right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed for me at least.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna burn in hell for that one.
Hamalana.
All right, we got some more people chatting here today. Well, we've got about the same people chatting. We did bring in Mata Nui. Welcome, Mata Nui. It's great to have you here tonight. Do you know Mata?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh, I do not know Mata.
Mata's good people.
I'm fine. Sorry, I didn't recognize EVS's chair. Shame. The chairman, yes. Yeah. So, all right. Well, there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in the geek world over the course of the last... Man, has it even been a week? It's been nuts. Okay, so Wizards of the Coast have effectively shot themselves in the foot. They have zero goodwill. They are trending nationwide, I think maybe even worldwide on Twitter, because of the amount of ridiculous greed they've got. So in case you haven't heard, Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast owns D&D. For many moons, D&D has had the this thing called OGL, Open Game License, okay, which game developers could base their own content off of, so gamers would have an easier transition from one game to the next. It was for the end use. Right. It wasn't for the developers to cheat. It was for compatibility, right? And so people could create their own worlds, their own dimensions, their own all kinds of stuff, and they did. And there's publishers that make their entire living off of OGL content. OGL 1.1 comes along. The CEO of Hasbro, I can't remember her name, or of Wizards. Maybe it is Hasbro. But she comes along, was from Microsoft, and did something similar to Halo. It was the lady that did the crazy thing with Halo. She comes in and says, okay, well, we gotta, look at all these little leaks. We're not making money off of these things. So they now put out OGL 1.1. It gets leaked. Obviously, it got leaked because somebody didn't care for it, right? Somebody that saw it, that's on the inside, didn't care for it. They said, no, we're gonna show this thing off. And Kickstarter confirmed that the OGL 1.1 update was real, and that they're working with Wizards of the Coast to crowdfund games that are made on the OGL 1.1. So there's like this sneaky thing to where, well, if you're going to make games based on OGL 1.1, the only people that you can crowdfund with is Kickstarter, right? Because they're the ones that's working with them. to be able to handle all the licensing or whatever that baloney that article said, that letter came out with. And so they're doing this, but something that's in the 1.1 is that it usurps the original license, and that it's kind of like retroactive to everything that had been done under the old license. The new license now covers. And part of that is, if you do anything, Wizards of the Coast is due royalties off of your work. And they own the IP. Let that sink in for a second. They just wrote their own rule that said all of that great stuff that you guys created, it's mine now.
I made this.
It's mine now. Yeah. And now we're taking your money. That's what we're doing. That's what happened. So, what a mess. What a mess.
Okay,
I know we don't gotta
designers have to use quick Kickstarter.
If
they want to use
OGL. If they're using OGL 1.1, yeah. It looks like Kickstarter's the only one they can use. But people aren't going to use that. In fact, we'll talk a lot about this Thursday morning because Nick, this is where his heart is in gaming, and so this hit him hard, right? This was bad news. So we'll talk about this more then. But yeah, that was
Time for everybody to move to Big Eyes, Small Mouth.
Yeah. In fact, Nick's working on doing an open source version of his Base Plus 2 so that people can have access to it.
Nice.
Which I think that's needed. We need to do that. Welcome, Just Carol. Hello, it's great to see you. You've got books coming. She won a book the other day. Because I was talking about how we had a guy named Johnny show up. And I'm like, that's like this quintessential white guy name. And I said, if anybody knows a white guy named Johnny, I'll send you a free book. And Carol won. Her ex-husband's name is, guess what? Johnny. Welcome, same person. It's great to have you here today. What am I selling at the auction? I am selling some of my own original art, and I'm selling some original art I have from Nitho Diaz and from Preston Acevedo.
Woo!
So yeah, I'll have original art for Hybrids covers available for that as well. And yeah, and several pieces of my own, some canvas things that I had printed up and edited and that I add paint to and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, fun things. Yep, so we'll have some originals. Fun stuff. I haven't had time to promote that, guys. It's been so busy. I interviewed you, Anthony, the other night.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
That was fun.
Got an article coming out with a splintering. You had the book that saved Comicsgate.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah, the book that saved Comicsgate. Very interesting.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Little dark gift comics. The gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. So that was, so that's an interesting story. People heard that this week EVS won his. In fact, when we streamed last Friday to announce the launch of the sign up page, a half hour after we went live, EVS went live with his news. So there was a battle between he and Preston Poulter that goes back to 2018, actually.
Actually, funny thing is, he didn't even know when he went live. He didn't. I don't think he had known then. That was the stream that he announced it at first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't know. He was streaming for some other reason, and it was funny because after I was done watching you, I looked at my phone. I had a missed call from Scott, the lawyer, and he told me the news, and he shot me an email, and he had apparently called Ethan and shot him an email, but he was already live, and he also called Robert Romano to tell him the news, So like I'm super chatting, like I'm super chatting. Emails going, just got the phone call and the email, congrats, and Robert's like DMing him or whatever, and Ethan's going, what the hell?
What are you
Should I have been talking? Should I have been talking to my lawyer? He says.
You should have been talking to your lawyer. Yeah. So now, honestly, I'll be. There are. There's good reasons why the trademark had to happen. Because there was people that. Well, if Preston would have got a hold of it, I mean, forget it. I mean,
The whole reason he wanted it was so that he could keep sticking it on really bad books.
really bad books, and to keep anyone that ever used the name out.
Yeah, he was
basically going to destroy their businesses.
Yeah. Anybody who had like a show with the name Comicsgate in it, like Comicsgate Open Mic Night, I would have got sued out the ass.
Yeah.
Just for having the Open Mic Night stream because it was called Comicsgate Open Mic.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, this is only the Comicsgate name on books, right?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Everything. Well,
he owns it for everything.
It's complicated, but yeah, it started with on books, and then it's since they both have taken out other marks called service marks, which can like extend to like clotheslines and videos and stuff like that. So
yeah. So
yeah,
EVS is only going to issue you a license for it a sub license if you want to put it on a piece of product to make money off of it. But if you just want to use the title to associate yourself with the movement, that's free for everybody to use. There's no.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, you got to kiss the ring.
Right.
In order to call yourself Comicsgate. There's none of that stuff going on. Yeah, I messaged him. He was very accessible through all this, which I've been surprised by, really. Because I know he's probably very busy with, answering a lot of questions. I mean, I imagine how busy I've been with answering questions about FundmyComic. I can only imagine what it's been like for him. These past few days. And so that happened. But I know some people are really concerned that they're going to have to. There's a lot of people in Comicsgate that really aren't huge fans of EVS. I mean, imagine that. He's rubbed people the wrong way. That's not possible, right?
I mean, hell, I've rubbed people the wrong way. So.
Yeah. I mean, I have. I think the only person here that hasn't rubbed people the wrong way might be Todd.
Todd, yeah.
But hey, we get him talking more on camera.
Give me time. Give me time.
It'll happen.
Give it
It'll
time.
happen. Yeah. Just let it happen.
It's like Pam on The Office when they're like, who here has not gotten a customer complaint? She's like, I haven't gotten one.
Well,
so they all work really hard to get Pam a customer complaint.
It's funny. It's funny because I was like hesitant to do what I did. Because like I said, I was just trying to circumvent the system and just try to have something where I could put Comicsgate on the book, right?
Yeah.
And when Bleeding Cool came out with the article, a second article, hey, what's up, Ace? Bleeding Cool came out with the second article where they mentioned my thing. Everybody was like, "You're going after comic," and I got a lot of people getting mad at me. I'm like, I'm not. I had to make a video. I'm not going after.
Just trying to protect my own well-being as well as other people's well-being. So from the research that I gathered, EVS was reluctant about taking on the ownership to begin with, but he was the one that had the best claim to it and probably the most power behind his name in order to keep the fight going. And so he won that. And I know some people are concerned about do I have to pledge allegiance to Ethan Van Sciver in order to be able to be CG? I know some people are like, well, I guess I didn't need much of a reason to stop calling my, and I think what'll wind up happening, I think this is potentially a good thing. I do believe that that this is an opportunity to recover the quote-unquote brand, if you will.
Yeah.
Because of bad players like, Vox originally when they come in, no one wanted to be associated with him. The war campaign folks that, made all the dildo pics and all that kind of stuff. The people like Poulter, who was, initially, I think, somewhat Comicsgate adjacent, or even were Comicsgate and then became antis. And there's a whole army of antis out there they'll love nothing more than just to create bad press for anybody that is even.
Well, that was the thing.
associated.
He was never Comicsgate, and see that. So that's how it kind of like he got rubbed. Like, I don't know, like he got a bad taste in his mouth because he actually went on Mail-In Show. Not many people remember this, but he was on Mail-In Show, Comicsgate Presents, which is strictly a Comicsgate promotional vehicle.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And after he went on the show, the colorist for Guinevere, I think it was for Guinevere, because I think he was promoting Guinevere, tweeted out something like, I can't be associated with someone who goes on Nazi YouTube channels or something like that. And John was like, yo, what the fuck? I just promoted and made you guys some money. And he reached out and he tweeted at Preston. He's like, yo, you better watch, next time you should tell somebody that you're Comicsgate before you hire them and they start going around slandering people. And Preston goes, well, I never said I was Comicsgate. And Malin was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I'm not Comicsgate. And he's like, well, you came on a show called Comicsgate Presents that's strictly for promoting up-and-coming Comicsgate creators.
Yeah.
And they had a little beef. And then he tried to get on EVS's show during the holidays when EVS doesn't really stream a lot. And, yeah, so then he never got on, and it was just all downhill from there. Yeah, he's just butthurt, yeah.
Yeah, Piper is looking dreamy tonight.
Because Malin basically said, after that conversation was, I wish you well, but I can't promote your books again unless you're Comicsgate. So he basically said, you can't come on my show ever again. And then EVS didn't have him on, and so he got butthurt.
Yeah, so he got butthurt. And so it created this, when someone has too much time and too much money, bad things happen. And that's just what happened. But, so anyway, this could be a good opportunity to recover the brand.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you just messaged everyone as me, didn't you?
What the hell? Oopsie.
Love you, Eileen.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it could also push people out, that were outliers, or, maybe people that are, antis that are kind of in the movement, but not really,
just to let people know too, it's technically not 100% over.
No, it's not.
So what he won was, Preston's forced to re-examine the mark. Basically, a re-examination means take a look at this again. It's not in proper use, is what Preston was asserting. The USPTO said, fine, and it's funny, he did ex parte, which means he can be involved in the process. And it ironically was supposed to be meant to speed up the process, but because of all the evidence and stuff, it actually dragged it out for an extra 9 months.
Wow.
But in our favor, you know what I mean? In Comicsgate's favor. So finally, with all the evidence, the USPTO was like, no, screw this. This is this has been in use fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. You know what I mean? It's been in use. There's no abandonment. Blah blah blah. So that's what Comicsgate Ethan won in his case. The next thing is another claim through the USPTO that there was 3 claims. There was fraud, abandonment, and lack of use. Well, 2 were already just proven to not be true. So now Ethan's lawyer, I just saw it on Twitter, Robert Romano just posted, Ethan's lawyer just put in for an expedition on this case because it's basically there's no fraud then, right? If 2 out of the 3 were met, then there's no fraud. So most likely within the next 3 months, this is going to be all
over. Very good.
All over, yeah.
But I'll tell you what's not over is this whole FundmyComic thing. So we're going to move on to that.
It better not be.
We're getting some questions about that. We were going to be doing the live walkthrough tonight, like I said earlier. But in the process, so the code has been written. This is what I've been explained. The code was written on a private thing. Ray probably knows better than I do. I know Todd definitely knows better than I do. So it was written on something, like in a notebook. And then it was moved to a book that everyone can see. I'm explaining it so terribly. Todd, why don't you handle that?
Yeah, so they had the site up on dev servers, and they have moved them to the live servers, but they're not open yet for us to get into just yet. So they'll be open for Luke and I tomorrow. And then we'll open up, once we have a chance to get in there and kick the wheels a bit and test things out, we're going to open it up to a couple creators to come on and build some testing campaigns and get ready for the launch date.
Yep. Right now, if you've signed up, there's a good chance that you're going to get in. But we're going to do it in pieces. We're not going to have the floodgates open up all at once. The holdup has been, so we don't have an intern making the site for us. This is the company owner. This is the big dog, right? So in this process, we have to make sure that we have all of the audits in place for. So the way it's explained to me, audits with this go. So it's like having an editor, but someone editing to make sure that your code is handling everyone's information properly. So that it's handling all of those very private, very sensitive pieces of information securely. So you can self-audit, but that's kind of icky. So you don't want to do that. So right now, other companies are doing audits for Surrendum to make sure everything is in order. In the process of that, there's also making sure that all of the issues with banks and credit card companies are the final bits of information that they needed to have, that they wanted to verify before we can take money, is done. So they're doing that all this week, early this week, so that we can launch on Monday and take money, right? So that's
all part of the same process.
Yeah.
Being so there's an overarching PCI compliance whenever you take credit card information that you have
Tell
to
us
make
what
sure
PCI stands for.
Yeah, that's payment card industry.
Okay.
And anybody that takes any type of card, whether it's a debit card or a credit card, you have to follow certain standards when you're handling that information in order to be compliant with the PCI standards. And if you don't, then the banks won't give you, a second look. So what they do is they come in and they'll do it either. They can send you a questionnaire and you can fill out your questionnaire and you say, yes, I'm compliant. Yes, I've done this. I've done this. I've done this. Or they can do an audit on you and they'll send an assessor to come in and verify that what you said that you're doing is actually what you're doing. So that's what's going on with Surrendum is they've got an auditor that they're working with, and an auditor that they trust is coming in and auditing their network, making sure that the data that they're storing, if they're taking somebody's card number, they're storing that card number properly. They're not storing certain information along with that card number to make sure that if somebody were to be able to get into your system, they can't have access to your credit card number and your CVV on the back of your card. So all that stuff has to be verified before the banks will give you the thumbs up to start taking card information.
That sounds very boring.
It is.
But that's why we didn't get the keys today. Because every time he got pulled out, he'd get elbows deep into the code to get things switched over, getting things switched over and ready for us to take the keys, and he'd get pulled off on that. So they're working till real late tonight, and then they'll wake up in the morning. They're in Washington, Washington State, so they're on the West Coast. So there's a bit of a time difference. So he's working. He's probably listening to the show right now while he's working, actually. So hi, Dave. Thanks for working hard for us. All of our viewers and all of our people watching this stuff, they're very excited about what you're doing. So, like I said, Dave did agree that after things settle down, he will come on and do a Q&A with us one day. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, things have evened out and we're running good. But right now things are beta. So by tomorrow AM Pacific time, if not real late Pacific time tonight, we'll have the keys. Todd and I will go through and basically try to find anything that's broken. And then we'll send out invites to people through the lottery to come on and make their campaigns. And we're going to ask them to also try to find anything that's broken. Because the idea is we want all of those initial people that we onboard to the system to help us be ready for a nice solid launch on the 16th. That way, we'd rather fix 100 problems this week than 1,000 problems next week, So that's where our goal is right now. But what we are going to go over tonight is we do have the terms of service. We're going to break it down into basic language. We're going to talk about the countries that we can serve there's one particular that we can't, that we were really hoping that we could, but it's just impossible with that country. No one wants to do business with them. When I get to there, there's a thing called a nexus, and so someone's gonna have to Google a nexus to be able to tell us what it is, because I really don't know what I'm talking about. I can tell you all about how to make a comic book, but
yeah, it's complicated stuff. I'm really glad that
yes.
We're not handling that.
Yeah, I'm like,
and Surrendum is. I can't even fathom.
Yeah, I'm ready just to get the keys to the Porsche, take it for a ride. That's what I'm ready to do.
Yeah, so when we get it, Luke's going to take the keys and he's going to see how fast the puppy can go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the keys and I'm going to get in. I'm going to try all the knobs. I'm going to make sure the windshield wipers work. I'm going to see how fast they work, what settings they have.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can do a dry donut. That's what I'm going to try to do. Like, let me just run donut. I'm going to build like 2 campaigns tomorrow. Like, I'm going to throw everything I can at it and just, play with make that thing work. And if I can if it can handle me, it should be able to handle all of you. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty hard on, on that stuff. So
Ray's got your definition in the private chat.
There we go. Well, can someone read that definition for me?
Economic nexus equals a threshold that you must register in that country or state for taxes and reporting purposes, in simple terms.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of like a person, if you make less than $10,000 a year, you don't have to file taxes.
Oh, right. Okay. I have a feeling we're going to break through those
over that
nexuses.
amount, then you have to file taxes and you have to go through the whole spiel.
Because every state has their own rules and their own nexuses, basically, in every country.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Same thing that I've got to deal with my end being in not America.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's going to be, yeah. Again, that's why I hire accountants.
So what books are you going to make campaigns for tomorrow when you start playing around?
03, Out of Obscurity. and the Hybrids RPG.
Nice.
Yeah, so both of those campaigns get built tomorrow.
I finally figured out what I would do once you give me access. But I'm not going to say just yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you backstage.
You
I don't
gotta
want to
keep
say
it secret.
Just
All
for
right.
now. Just for
All
now.
right, so here's some details, right? So one of the things you're going to notice when you first log in is that the terms of service link will be there right at the sign up page, so that everybody can access those right away. The login link will be to the builder portal. So the way I understand this is that you kind of get, and I'm probably going to explain this wrong, guys. So technical guys, be ready to correct me. But the way I understand it is, so when I would build a site, I would have a cPanel or a dashboard that I would use, and then the site would have a front end. I'm understanding this as the builder portal is only what you see as a builder of a campaign. It's not what the customer sees. So Indiegogo has this integrated into your accounts where where you're looking at one thing, you've got your little portal pop out over there or whatever. But we're handling that a little bit different. Todd, do you understand how that's being handled?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how it's different.
Ray, do you know if that's different? You got to unmute yourself.
Boomer. So you've got builder and you've got user. So builder is basically if you're a campaign creator. User is if you're sponsoring. Okay. So you can have both types of the accounts, but you're separate because you want to keep taxes and economy separate between you, what you get and what you spend. So we're just putting them in two separate boxes. Basically.
Okay. So my contributions and what I make are separated. Basically. Okay.
Yeah.
So
instead of having it all jumbled into one system that gets confusing.
Okay.
It's box for that, box for that.
All right. Keep it simple, stupid. All right. Very good. So that's how it's going to go. So you're going to have a builder portal, and that's going to be separate from the contributor portal. And would it be? I could probably just read this, can't I? Probably wouldn't be a bad idea, would it?
Same account though.
Yeah, same username.
Okay.
Yeah, same username. Yeah. Yeah. So it would be the same login for you, but it's just how it's handled.
Right.
So yeah, it says that login link. You'll see that you'll get the builder portal. The builder portal is separate from the contributor portal. This allows you to maintain your campaign in one account section, and your expenses or contributions in another. We purposely designed everything to be separate, allowing those with less tech know-how to be able to sift through transactions via income easier. So you can, these are all...
Get a drop down.
Yeah, so you get a drop down for it. So I don't know that you're going to see much difference on your end, really, as the users, the contributors and users, yet, because we haven't got inside the car. I know Ray's seen a little bit of the back, but not as much as obviously Dave knows.
I guess my question is if I mean maybe I'm thinking too much into it, so I'm just asking questions that maybe other people might ask. So bear with me. But if it's the same username and login, but it's kept separate, is it like a separate access link? You know what I mean? Will it be like if I was going on because I wanted to go back to Hybrids RPG and I wanted to go into my backer portal, I would just go to FundmyComics.com and log in. But if I wanted to create a campaign, it'd be like create.fundmycomics.com or something like that.
The way I understand it is basically you just log in, you get your interface, but there's particular sections of that interface that handle those particular.
So yeah, factors. you would go to that section. You wouldn't have to log into another page.
Yeah, you don't have to log in twice or anything. It's easy if you just log in and then you go to a drop down, select what section you want to go to.
There's a separate tab on the side or something.
Yeah. Like
Gotcha.
I had an account with videos.com. Videos.com is a it's a service for people that do a lot of video editing. It's kind of pre-made templates that you can just pop your own information in. And so with that, if I would go to videos.com, it was just their sales portal. They actually gave me another login site that I had to go to access all of my stuff. You're not going to have to do that, to the best of our knowledge. That is not how this is going to end up. You'll access them from different sections, but it's still with one interface.
It'll just redirect you probably or something like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That is the way I am
Just think
led
of it
to
as
believe it.
one place that has, you've got your immediate page that's in front of you, but if you click on the menu on the side, or if you click a drop down, that refreshes to whatever you clicked on.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can
you
see
don't have to
your
worry about
contributions.
URLs and that sort of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so you can see your contributions right away. So you know, okay, this is what I've done. It's kind of like my campaigns and my contributions tabs on Indiegogo. It's kind of how that
Gotcha.
is. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, the builder portal will have builder terms of service, and they're going to be slightly different than the standard user terms of service, because as the standard user doesn't generate content on the platform, and therefore doesn't need to be presented those particular terms. So when you are creating, when you're being a builder, you'll have a different set of terms of service. Now, everywhere that you see Surrendum, that includes FundmyComic, so everybody knows. You're going to see Surrendum on a lot of stuff, okay? Surrendum is the company we're working with. So, Indiegogo was originally part of GoFundMe, right? Like, we all know that that's kind of where that started and how it evolved. This is FundmyComic, but Surrendum is, they're the heavy lifters. It's their system, it's their code. They're the ones that are basically running this whole thing and taking on the majority of the risk, if you will.
And they hold the bank accounts.
Yeah.
All the legal stuff applies to them.
Yeah, so you're not worried about Luke and Todd taking your money. We don't have it. We get our money from Surrendum just like you do, okay? So that's going to be the, I think, for me, that was the thing that I liked the most about the way we're setting this up, is that, we have very little to worry about when it comes to that. And we can focus, Todd and I and Ray, we can focus on the front end, while Surrendum focuses on all of the back end stuff. So you're going to notice that wherever it says Surrendum, it includes FundmyComic, because the platform is running on their system. So when you see the word platform, that's talking about FundmyComic, and the platform is running on their system. So
I'll be dancing between you and Surrendum.
Yeah.
In between.
Yeah.
For that sort of stuff, just to create that that bridge.
Yeah, Ray swings both ways.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
baby. 31 flavors.
Sorry, 31 flavors. That's funny. I distracted myself with the joke. I'm now like, that was kind of funny. And then I'm like, where was I? Okay. So main takeaways. Everywhere you see Surrendum, it includes FundmyComic, and the platform is referenced to FundmyComic. So when you see that on there, Surrendum standard use agreement is not going to be changed. It's what they currently use, so it's not going to be anything. It's not the thing that's changing, the thing that they've been writing. The thing that's been writing is the content creator terms of service, the user agreement. That's the one that's been the holdup, because it has to deal a lot with all kinds of variables, and so that's what's going on with that one. Surrendum. Okay, so our lawyers have made a new platform-specific terms of service that outlines what builders can and cannot present on the platform, who can use our platform, and what we are responsible for versus what the creators are responsible for. And so those main points, we're just going to go over right now. Should I get my lawyer voice on? We disavow all content, not just some. All of it. We, as a platform, do not support anyone more or less. And there will be no special privileges, i.e., no algorithms that organically boost over anyone else. We can still have similar content, but it has to be, it's going to be randomly selected and categorized by your genre and by the things that you click. So you can click your tags for it. And so it's not going to be, no one's going to be like cheating you. Like it is.
There's no preferential treatment.
Yeah, no preferential treatment whatsoever.
WYSIWYG.
Yeah, WYSIWYG. I do have to say this. We can. Well, let me get through some of this boring stuff. Okay. Yeah. Basically, we don't want anybody to think that we're pushing somebody else's campaign over someone else's. You know, that we're showing preferential treatment, because that's not happening. So that's what we're going to be. So that's what that covers.
Or the only thing in the system. Yeah, sorry. I'm just saying the only thing
or vice versa, that we're not pushing some down that are and others not. So
yeah.
No, the only thing in the system is that boost type option that we have from supporters that want to boost a campaign, like a tipping system sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's not us. That's you guys.
No, that's the only
there.
thing that works in that principle.
Yeah, that's all the users. That's not us here. We're still going to do like a staff pick, but it's just campaigns we think look cool. Which people can pay attention to or not. But no one's going to get. Really, what that means is not necessarily that someone's going to get boosted over someone else. It's really language to tell you that we're not going to shadow ban you. That's really what that is. That's so
treat everyone the same.
Yeah, so we're pretty much putting that out there first. We don't allow anyone under 18 to use a platform. Period. So basically, you can't buy or do a campaign if you're under the age of 18. You have to be 18 to use the platform.
Poor Noah.
Right? Yeah, he's going to have someone a little older take care of it for him. So here's what I'm being told, okay? This is our terms of service. We don't allow anyone under the age of 18 to use the site, period. If you're under 18 and we find out, you gotta go, instant ban. We cannot be responsible for minors on the site. And there will be content that slips past our moderation team at some point, okay? And so if a minor sees or reads something that their parents aren't okay with, we cannot be held responsible for that. And so we have to have language that protects us from that as well. You as a creator are responsible for ensuring your data and any data processing you use are compliant with CCPA, GDPR. What this is talking about is your what you do with emails and what you do as a user with your information outside of the Surrendum system and outside of FundmyComic. Am I getting that right, Todd?
Yes.
Okay, good. They have to give me a crash course on all this stuff. I'm like, I just don't want to
basically handling your personal data.
That's basically washing your hands of like, I ran around with like backer information doing something untowardly. It clears you guys from it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It is your responsibility as a creator to issue refunds independently of our platform if you fail to fulfill. Our platform charges a bank fee. Once the card has actually been charged, you can no longer refund via our portal. This may change in the future, but probably not.
Oh,
I don't really see a need to do this.
That's a question. Like, are you charging the card at like Indiegogo at the moment of backing, or are you doing the Kickstarter method where you pull it?
No, it is. It initially has a hold as pending on your card, and it's held for 3 days. Within that it's in the terms of service here somewhere. Within that 3 days, you can ask for a refund as a backer, and we will just process it ourselves to you and notify the creator, the builder. But if it's after that, you have to contact the builder, the creator, to ask them for the refund. They have to issue it, and we're not going to be responsible for the transaction fee. You are. That's on you. Okay?
Yeah, once those funds go out,
yeah,
they can't come back in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we're going to have, like I said before, we haven't worked out all the details just quite yet. We will have them all worked out by Monday. But we have a lot of freedom on how we distribute funds, our disbursement. So all of that will be dealt with Friday. We're going to be going over all of that kind of dashboard admin information and how we choose to handle some of those policies for FundmyComic. Because Surrendum can do things the way they want to, and we're going to do things, obviously, because we're FundmyComic. We have to follow Surrendum's law, obviously, but whatever they allow. So they may be able to allow something that we don't really want to do.
Right.
Oh, you can give payouts right away if you want. And we're like, I don't really want to do that. Let's wait until this time or so many days after that. So we're going to look at what we can do, and then Todd and I will set our guidelines for disbursements based on what we find out Friday. So
you know what?
I don't have a lot of information to say about that yet.
I was hoping Ray might be able to. Something that you might think about is maybe in the future, when you're doing tweaks or whatever later on, maybe doing like a wallet system. But I think that would be coding, and that's something that Ray would say, yeah, we could do that or not do. I don't know if I...
What do you mean a wallet system?
So, like, I'm a backer, right? And when I back something, maybe it goes into like a wallet first, and then to the which would be through the Stripe or whatever payment processor you're doing, but like it stops real quick in like a wallet system, and then goes to the backer, and at that point it sits in a wallet that the backer has. So this way, if I wanted a refund, they could just transfer it back to the wallet. There's no credit card transaction needed, and then I could take that money and ship it off to another campaign, because the money's still floating around in the system, but like in like a wallet. I don't know, just something to think about. I don't know.
All right. I will take that to Dave. So I know initially with this, the more money that we make, the more of a relationship we will have with the banks. Right. And so we will get additional, I'm sure it works like everything else. We'll get additional privileges and, better rates and stuff like that, just like my local bank does. The more money I have with them, they treat me different when I see that. Mr. Stone, I see that, welcome. Can we get you something to drink? Yes, I'll have a mimosa, thank you. They look at the bank out. No, I can offer you a bottle of water. We got some stale coffee. I mean...
As opposed to when I walk into the bank now, oh crap, here he comes.
Right. As a creator, you're required to verify your identity for tax and legal purposes. You can't be an anonymous creator. So just like Indiegogo, where you have to verify your identity with Stripe We maybe use Stripe for that. We may use a different system. But, Kickstarter also requires you to verify your identity. So that shouldn't be anything that's unexpected at this point. Now here gets into what we reserve the right for. We reserve the right to hold funds or prevent payouts if necessary. There are some examples where we'd have to be forced to do that, like if a bank would confirm, if the bank was having trouble confirming tax information, the IRS freezes someone's accounts, FBI investigation, all things compliant with the law. Piper and I were
not
fighting.
America,
I always forget
internet
Piper has access, and she and I will fight back and forth, cutting things on.
Speaking of FBI investigations.
Speaking of
well, it's funny that happened once. I was on Well Red's stream. I think it was Well Red's, and I have access to his channel because sometimes I'll guest host when he's on vacation or something, and we were just doing a hangout stream, and one of the the penis people came on, right, and we both were like, oh, and I'm hitting remove and he's hitting remove, so the person's bouncing back and forth, and you just see this penis going like this.
It's flashing.
I was probably like, I'll stop.
It's like a penis rave. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh, technology's fun. This is why we have somebody else building the crowdfunding site. I can't even friggin' work StreamYard. What do you expect, folks? Come on. All right. So we do reserve the right to hold funds or prevent funds from being paid out if necessary, but it's usually based on all of those compliant things. It's not going to be because we don't like you. It's only going to be because of the law or for being made to. For instance, I think Cecil talked about this with himself. He explained this to his backers, that he couldn't access his funds because of legal proceedings with his wife. So it's a very real thing. It happens, and sometimes even platforms will get put under gag orders, and we won't be able to talk about anything. So right now we're not under one, so we're going to tell you right now. That's probably why, if we're not releasing your funds, you're probably in some kind of trouble. And it is what it is. Best of luck to you. We'll pray for you. We are not a bank, nor are we FDIC insured. But the accounts we provide are provided by an FDIC insured partner bank. Basically, this is Stripe and Wells Fargo, and we are 100% bound by our partners' terms of service, including but not limited to the dismissal and removal of all sexual, nude, pornographic, violent, or extremely graphic content. Okay? I'm going to read that again so we understand this. Okay? We wanted to have a not safe for work function. We cannot with the banks that we currently have at our disposal. Okay? In order for us to do this, we must start out by following their terms of service. And their terms of service say that we cannot have sexual, nude, pornographic, violent, or extremely graphic content. Cartoon violence is fine. Limited gore, They keep their terms of service vague on purpose when it comes to that, so that they can pivot, right? But we will help you navigate what is not allowed on the platform. That's what Todd and I will be doing. We will make sure that you're in compliance with the terms of service so that you can fund your book. That's what we want. We want you to fund your comic. Thus the name. So, unlike now, we're probably not, if the site grows the way some people predict it will, we're not going to always be able to do that, but we will always be transparent with the information. We're not going to do what Indiegogo's doing right now in not sharing information that is not necessary. And in fact, I just got a message that says, our boy is watching. It says, we will not ban just because they're not in compliance. It's not a hard ban. We need to educate. So in most cases, child porn and shit like that is an intent banned. Not even sorry. So yeah. So some of it will be, you know, if it's bad, dude, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But we're going to educate you. So that comes from FundmyComic, but also from Serendum. So that you know that whatever happens, you're at least going to have some information about that and why it's happening to you. So because we're still beholden to banks and their terms of service, we have to kind of follow those as well. And there's some other information in there that's boring and not really that important to this conversation. The big point is that we made already. Now,
so one thing that you know, Dave did say is, you know, unlike Indiegogo, we're not going to ban that. We as administrators can go in and remove the offending content, and that'll, you know, should bring the campaign into compliance.
See, so that's even better. Like, hey, we
Yeah,
took
but
your
it's also
picture
a
down.
two-way street. You know, there is a trust factor with the creators that we're bringing across on here, that we trust you to follow the rules. We trust you to upload and make sure that things on your end are compliant. Now, if you make a boo-boo, not a problem, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But it's a two-way
Blue
street.
Teddy, the answer is yes. Just don't tell me about it, okay? I like to plausible deniability. That's the story of my life, right? Just we're gonna examine the campaign. It can't have those things in it.
Would you be reaching out to the creator before you actually went in?
Yeah, we're not just gonna go in and tinker. Unless it's like, hey, you know, the bank is talking to Ray in Australia and it's the middle of the night, and if we don't do something by, by certain time, his time or whatever, then we may go in and remove offending content, but it will come with the notification. But FundmyComic's plan of attack is to contact the creator and let them know, look, this, and this that has to go. You got to fix that.
Right.
And then let you do it. I would rather let you do it. And, I think I am going to have a problem though, guys, because sometimes people are stupid. And if we're like, look, you got to fix that. And then if you don't fix it, you like change something. I'm like, well, I changed a little bit. I said you got to take it down. Like, I'm afraid I'm not going to be real patient with some people's stupidity.
For like an example, like, you know how like some people, like, they'll put like the black bar over, like, even if the chick's not nude, but like she's got like she's scantily clad or
Like
something.
it's not enough, yeah.
Yeah. So will they put the black bar. Now that'll get through on Indiegogo. Would that get through here? Like if they do something like that, like an edited piece of artwork, maybe make it look funny,
Maybe. Dave, let us know. And if they black bar the boobies,
yeah,
put little smiley faces over the nips, will that do it?
Like say it's like a chick and she's wearing pasties, right? So she's not nude, but it's still kind of pushing the line. Maybe
do we
they
need
put
to
like
stick FundmyComic logos over the boobs?
Yeah, see, like you can make it funny, right? You can make it fun, right? Like who did that recently? Like they had the chick doing like the high karate kick, and she's wearing like a G-string, so like there's something there, but it's still pretty graphic. So they actually had like the other character like popping up, going like this in front of her, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they edited it like that,
Right, like Yeah, like, I think Gymshock might have a problem. Like, I think that might be the thing. That might have. But yeah, it was Shane Davis, wasn't it, that did that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Shane Davis did it. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get an answer from Dave on that one. We're going to move on instead of waiting on that. But that's, I mean, guys, like that's probably going to be the main area where you guys find that we're running into trouble, is just explicit content. We're not saying that you can't have explicit content in your book and fund. We're saying that, no, I'm saying personally, I don't want to know about it. Because if I find out you got child porn in your book, I'm taking it down. Okay?
Right.
I mean,
that's a whole other, yeah.
I mean, yeah. And you're
I've
getting
got
banned.
an update.
You do,
So,
good.
so I've got an update here saying basically emphasize anything illegal is 100% not allowed, not okay.
Yeah.
We will remove the child porn. We will report to the National Child Abuse Hotlines and reporting for that related authorities. But titties and shit, whatever. If the bank doesn't complain and it's censored, okay. There's some level of freedom of speech and expression we still have to follow.
Yeah. I love
that's fair enough. Yeah.
Titties and crap, yeah, whatever. As long as the bank doesn't.
It's all about keeping the bank happy.
Censored. Yeah. As long as the bank's happy, we're happy. We want to let you guys have freedom of expression and creation. But we also want to make sure that you're getting your money, that you're protected. Okay? So these are here. All of these terms of service are just so that you can get your money and your information is protected and that people can get their books. It's all coming down to that. I'll tell you, one thing that can earn you a ban is if, and this is not in our terms of service, this is Luke. This is Luke's rule, okay? If we find out that you're grifting people, I'm not going to let you use what we paid good hard money for to use. I'm not going to let
That's
you
got to be a blacklist, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that's Luke's rule, right? If I find out you're grifting someone using what we use our hard-earned money for, banned, perma-banned, and I might find out where you live and come kick your butt. Just saying. I'll hit you with one of my GIMP legs. I don't care. I got this GIMP arm. I'll just flail it around. Smack you with it. I won't feel it. It'll be fine.
Can't break it. It just makes it even more deadly. Now it's flailing even more.
Yeah. And it's got little shards sticking out of it. And get you.
The Gimpernador.
Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. I'm punchy tonight. And I have another stream to go on when I get off of this one to talk about FundmyComic. Okay, where am I at? All right. You may add your social network to your profile, but we reserve the right to remove it and any other inappropriate links, images, videos, or other content you may put on our site. So this is kind of a workaround, again, to the shadow banning. So I never thought I would say I have some sympathy for the shadow banning situation. I think the shadow banning was a response, an automated response to people complaining. And when people complain and you make so much money, the banks get involved. And if the banks aren't happy, then you don't get to take anybody's money. And so I wonder, I'm only speculating, if all of this was just to keep the money people happy, you know. I think in the long run, maybe it always is that, really.
Yeah,
but
after
I do
seeing a
have
bit
some
of
sympathy.
after seeing a bit of the inner workings of it, and what we can and can't report, I think it's related to the banks for sure.
Yeah. It might be somewhat political, but it might not be.
Yeah, because Lightbringer 2 is now shadow banned.
Yeah. Hybrids is shadow banned. But Rift Riders is not. And intentionally broke the terms of service on Rift Riders to see if they'd ban it.
Weird.
Yeah, I told you I did that, Piper.
You know, I've been like responding to so much stuff without realizing I was muted. I just thought you were super quiet. It's like she has nothing to say, I guess. Like, why is Piper chiming in? No, I've been chiming in like randomly. And an answer to your question, Fence Fighter. In regards to the wallet, and to expand there, we hold the authorization for 3 days to avoid remorse. As soon as it's charged by the bank equals we get charged, and thus the creator gets charged. Once the creator is charged by the bank doesn't give back those processing fees. So we don't refund after that. But again, the creator can refund outside our platform, just like IGG. So that's probably why the wallet thing doesn't work really, but it's like that a little bit. It's a 3-day hold, so it just shows pending. And so if you're like, oh crap, I didn't want to back that one, I wanted to back this tier, you can do a refund and reback. Or if you decided, oh, you know what, it turns out I don't really like Todd's book, doesn't have enough titties in it. Right? You can
The ultimate buyer's remorse.
Yeah. You can refund that one and buy a Ray's book that's going to be chock full of them.
I was like, why did he call me Fence?
I go both ways. There's going to be lots of things in mine.
And now I know.
Fence Fighter. Yeah.
I didn't.
Your
put
name
that
is
there.
Fence Fighter.
Who do?
I didn't.
I didn't do it.
He came in like that. You were in the back room like that.
Fence Fighter.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody trolled you at some point.
And I just haven't noticed till now?
Yeah, you are Fence Fighter.
What? If somebody changes your name in one stream, does it really stay that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it stays that way.
Oh, it does stay that way until you change it back. Yeah, somebody did it.
Cookies.
Whose stream was I? Whose stream was I on last?
I don't know, but they trolled you.
It got you.
That's hilarious. I would like to know which stream you're on.
I thought Piper did that.
No.
Oh,
I would have capitalized the other F. I can't stand that.
Yeah. Come on, an editor would never have done that.
Yeah.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
God, I hate that so
I know.
much.
It's your worst.
I hate it
It's
so
your absolute worst. But this is your new favorite.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
I like that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it
It'd
probably
be my
was best
favorite.
stream, Death Pusher.
Be my favorite. Probably definitely. Well, they got you. They got you good. All right. So, in order to work around the shadow ban thing, where they said, "Oh, well, we shadow banned you because you shared a link," which that's what I did with the Rift Riders, and it's still up. Because it put a link away from that campaign to another one. We can just go in and remove it, and we reserve the right to do that if it's going to be offensive. It's like, oh well, that campaign, it's linked to Pornhub. Yeah, we'll go and remove that. We'll take care of that for you. You know, see, easy peasy. Notice I mention a lot about porn, because the banks don't like porn. You know what bankers don't like? Porn. They don't like it. It bothers them. We reserve the right. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think you legitimately have to be like in the porn industry for the banks to like accept your money. Like I think that.
Well, not necessarily the banks don't like them. The banks charge more for them, and they don't want you to have that on your system if they're not charging you for it.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah. It's just like the tax for alcohol is more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the case? Yeah.
Yep.
Alcohol tax. Yeah.
Right.
Fun tax. Joking.
Yep,
Where
okay.
was I? We reserve the right to remove campaigns. When a campaign is removed, if the payments have already been paid out, not our problem. If the bank has frozen the account, we'll be forced to do the refunds by the bank. We'll be forced to do refunds by the bank or the arbitrator. So we have to have that language in there. Because sometimes, based on some of these other reasons, we may have to remove a campaign. Not that we want to. Like, we also put in the language that it is not our intent to do these things. We're not setting out that, oh, you know what, I don't really like the cut of that dude's jib. Screw him and his business. That's not what we're here to do. I've already said that we don't really care if you like any of us. We're making the site as much for our detractors as we are for our friends, because we figure our detractors would have greater criticism of us. So we want to make sure that we're making a secure and a solid working site for them. That way our friends will be even happier, right? So we want to make sure that everybody is benefiting from this. And in the end, we benefit, and so does the world, okay? But we have to have that information in there. If you as a creator have more than 5... This is important, guys. We all know what a chargeback is. I think if you've been in any kind of freelance work, you know what a chargeback is. You've paid someone for work, and that work does not get sent to you, all right? You can then go to whatever payment processor you did, and you can do a chargeback, all right? Which means that you get that money back at their expense, because they're not refunding it to you. They're not giving you that. A lot of times people will do this through a company system, or they'll do it through other means. Sometimes it's a scam. People say, oh, well, I'm being, I didn't get that. And they clearly did. In fact, I was just talking with Justin Sweet about this today, because he deals with this kind of stuff with his work. They sell keyboards, and they do a lot of online sales. And so the online sales, sometimes they'll have to deal with chargebacks. All right. Now, we get charged for the chargebacks. That's a fee that we would have to pay. So we have language about chargebacks. If you as a creator have more than 5 chargebacks in a month, we will immediately suspend your account. Okay? Not ban, but suspend. If a user has made a chargeback, we will immediately suspend their account until they can discuss with our team what the hell. So that's, yeah. I love how Dave types these things up so that I'll understand them. He knows what he's dealing with. I mean, come on, you guys know what we're dealing with here. I'm like, yeah, like just tell him, like say how I'll understand it.
Am I wrong, or does Indiegogo have a defense against chargebacks after
Thank you
a
for the
certain
super
point?
sticker. Yay! Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, doesn't on Indiegogo, don't chargebacks only work up until a certain point, and then they're not?
No, that's
reliable
their
for-
refund policy. Like they have that. Yeah, and I think maybe they do. Yeah, they have chargebacks too, I guess. So I'm not. Again, I won't know that answer until Friday. That's admin training. That's
right.
That's deep dive information that is not the most important thing for me to know Tuesday. It will be super important for me to know on Friday.
Gotcha.
So I'll be able to answer that then. But we have to figure out like what's going on. So it says our bank will drop us if our chargeback rates get too high, because we can't offer refunds after payouts, and because we're responsible for these accounts. It would get very expensive if we have a lot of chargebacks. So it's going to cover us. Mostly it's going to cover Surrendum on that. Appeals and arbitration follows the rules and guidelines set out by the American Arbitration Association. an international center of dispute resolution. The bank is the first in the line to this arbitration, though. So, again, that's some legal stuff, kind of boring. It's just saying, if any kind of legal has to happen, if we're going to sue each other, then it has to go through these guidelines. Any court process will go through our head office in Washington. So everything will happen in Washington. The courts that maintain our jurisdiction and competency is in Washington. We as a platform are nonpartisan. Any messaging that pertains to the platform needs to be 100% nonpartisan. So we're not going to be vote for Trump, vote for Biden. We're not going to be. You're not going to see the platform say that. As individuals, we might say that, but our individual life and our platform life is different, because we're going to have a lot of people working on this site that come from a lot of different political viewpoints. People that are going to be involved with this. It's going to be perfectly fine. I guarantee you're going to have some Democrats, some moderate Democrats, working on this with us. So we have no problem with working with people that are good, solid, talented people that don't have their heads up their rear ends. And so that's what's going to happen. We're going to make sure. But anything from the platform itself that you see is going to be completely nonpartisan. Not only just on a political level, but also when it comes to if people are suing each other on the platform. So if you have one creator that has a problem with another creator, we're not going to take a partisan stand. Okay? Does that make sense? I think that should make sense. So let's say Anthony and Todd, they start beefing, and they both have books on the platform. And Anthony decides he's going to try to de-platform Todd. We're not going to take a stand on your beefs. It's not going to happen. If he broke the law, and it can be proven that he broke the law, then that's a different story. But other than that, you know what? Just close your browser. It's that simple. Close your browser, guys. I doubt bankers have a moral high ground, Luke. You're right. They probably don't. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that very much. Very generous of you. Yes, they probably don't have a moral high ground. And it goes to what Todd says. They like charging more for pornography, is what it is. So, all right, where am I at? The prohibited content clause. The platform is intended for a general audience. Surrendum does not allow content that is pornographic, depicts nudity or sexual acts, is illegal in nature, or promotes illegal activity, is excessively violent, hateful, or discriminatory, or otherwise violates any other individual or user's rights and freedoms to expression. You can say what you want. There is going to be some consequence. You have responsibility with your freedoms. And so, no inciting violence. You can't defame another person. You know, there's things like that, like common laws and rules. That's kind of what this is covering.
Obvious parody is okay, though, right?
Obvious parody.
Like if it's obvious parody, yeah.
Yeah, it has to fall under parody law. Again, we want people to have.
Like I know that, but I'm saying it out loud so you can say it out loud so people, you know what I mean? Because some people are going to go, "What do you mean I can't make a parody book?" No, of course you can make a parody book.
Yeah. Look, here's the deal. It is perfectly within Kanye's right to tell everyone he loves Nazis. And if he wants to make a comic book about that, he can. Now, I've joked and I said that someone could go on and write a book about how much they hate Kanye. But the truth is they can't. Because that falls under certain laws we have in this country about defaming a person's character. You can't do that. So, now you can make a parody about Kanye, you know. So, Yeah. If that makes
as long
sense.
as it's within the law.
Yeah, it's got to be within the law, guys. So, but we're not going to we're not going to do anything to violate a person's freedom of expression. All right. Surrendum reserves the right to remove any content that violates these terms or is deemed inappropriate at the sole discretion of Surrendum for the platform or the platform's general audience. So if it's clearly out of line, it's got to come down. Okay. So, but do not confuse this with a trust and safety, because it is not trust and safety. Because the next thing that we say here is Surrendum supports the freedom of speech and expression and does not censor content based on political viewpoints or affiliations. As such, the platform may contain content that is intended for a mature audience. This may include content that contains harsh language or themes that were not suitable for all ages. Surrendum is not responsible for or liable for underage use of the platform or the services. Okay, so that covers all of that, I think. Pixel says, I'm bringing guns, girls, and gore to FundmyComic, baby. Yes, you are. And it's all right within our terms of service.
All in one page.
Now, you the one that you said earlier about like no pornography, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, say there's a scene in the book where like there's a chick taking a shower and there's a nipple. Obviously, you can't put that on the page, but is it okay?
Put that on the page. Yeah, don't put that on the page.
Yeah. You know, obviously, like I wouldn't put that
As
on
long as
any.
it's not in the campaign, we don't know about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like I'm saying, it's not like a pornographic book. It just happens to be like, a book for 18 and over because it's like got like one nude scene in it or something like that.
Piper's internet is acting up. Sorry, Piper. Stupid internet. Yeah, again, look, I don't need to know all the content in your book. It's not necessary for me to know all of it. It's not necessary for Todd to know all of it.
Right. Okay. So like, let's say this, right? Like, let's say, I'm just asking the questions again because, like, I probably already know the answer, but I want you guys to be able to say this is it. So when people try to, because people are gonna go, all right. So let's say we'll use the me and Todd example. Me and Todd are beefing, right? And I have just one little innocent nude scene in my book, and I'm on somebody's stream, and I happen to show that page on that stream, and then Todd comes to you and goes, "Dude, he's got a tit in his book." Like,
I'll say congratulations. He doesn't have it on the campaign page.
There you go. That's what people are going to want to hear, right?
Yeah, so, that's the thing. So all of our rules are to keep the banks happy, right? So what happened with what was her name? She just had her campaign refunded after it funded.
Oh, the hag, something hags or something like that.
Heterodorks or something like that. And she wrote clear parody about a trans issue and culture and cancel culture. I mean, it's clear parody. I mean, we had someone that we know that's LGBTQA1+, what? I can't remember all.
LGBT.
Yeah.
that's where I stop.
So all of those, right? So someone that is in that group looked at it and was like, yeah, if someone's going to be real sensitive, they could have gotten their feelings hurt, but it's clear parody. Like, it is what it is, right? So what happened was someone didn't accept that it was parody. They got upset about it, and then someone on Trust and Safety got upset about it. Thank you, Nina Paley. And then someone on Trust and Safety got upset about it, and so they took it because some of these people don't know how to take a joke. We are two companies ran by people that hate censorship, okay, and they're ran by people that also know how to take a joke and know how to laugh at things. So it's not a problem, okay. We have to stay vague because If we try to get real specific, there's always going to be something that's going to be outside of that, outside of that scenario. And there's always a straw man. Like there's always, people are definitely going to come in and, well, what if this happens? Dang it, I don't know if that happens. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. The point is, we support freedom of speech and expression. We're not going to try to censor your content.
That's why my what ifs were trying to be as like, not like so obscure. Like I was trying to like things that like literally have happened within the community to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like, kind of like, if I get a little too obscure with my what ifs, to be like, shut the hell up, man. Just
No, it's right. Because I understand your questions are coming from kind of that place, because we've seen it happen a bunch.
Right. So these are the questions that those people who are looking for that alternative are gonna wonder. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it goes the same way. Like you've got, well, they're Comicsgate. Are you really gonna let them on the platform? Heck yeah, gonna let them on the platform. Guess what? They make comics, and they need to get them funded.
And you're gonna have the opposite.
SJW. They hate
Right.
it. They hate. Man, they're outspoken against CG and EVS. Are you gonna let them on the platform? Yeah. They got a comic book. They need to fund it. And
that's why the first thing is freedom of expression.
Yeah, that's what we do. We fund comic books here.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. That's the idea.
Hey, listen, if an SJW is willing to fund their book on a platform run by people associated with Comicsgate,
more power to them.
More power to them, I say. Yeah.
Yeah, way to go. That's very progressive of you.
Very diverse and inclusive.
Wolfer, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thunderwolf, Thunder Peace. Is that what that means? Lightning Wolf. Lightning Peace. Wolfler. That's what it is. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Can you tell I'm a little tired? MAGA, space alien, tentacle sex make me feel unsafe.
I'm just saying.
Well, don't look.
Don't back that book.
Don't back that book. Hey, look, we're giving you options. Your option is to back it or not. So, take your choices.
Be mad, Ruth.
We're doing it. Can't wait for FundmyComic to hit. No, I can't wait either, buddy. Can't wait to launch. All right, where are we at? All right, I apologize, folks. You as a user may request a refund within 3 days of contributing. You as a creator will be notified of the refund period, during which you should not fulfill anything after such refund period. It is assumed that you can continue on. Okay, so I'm not sure that Dave knows exactly how we typically do fulfillment or how we do disbursement, which is one of the things we're going to wind up clearing up this week. But that statement there by itself gives me, I know that we potentially have a ton of freedom with how funds do get dispersed once they go into the escrows. Okay, so I will have a better answer on that later. You as a creator are solely responsible for determining the use taxes, import taxes, and other tax and shipping related expenses for international transactions. We will accept users from most countries, but creators must be from one of the following countries: the United States, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Chile, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Japan, Latvia,
No Kazakhstan?
So far, no Kazakhstan. The Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Philippines, Poland, Portugal. I know we got people in Portugal that have been having trouble. All right, Portugal, Romania, Sweden, Switzerland, Thailand, the United Kingdom, and we just got confirmation that we're also going to have. I'll do the drum roll. Todd, you announce it.
Argentina.
Argentina. So I know people asked specifically for Argentina. There had been some issues with that because of their nexuses.
Nexi?
Nexi,
yeah.
And their kind of the distress politically, which is why Brazil is not on the list. Brazil is a no-go. None of the banks want to work with Brazil. In fact, I guess there was just riots or some kind of thing again a day or two ago. So they're always having issues there. And so, so no Brazil. If you're in Brazil, you're going to have someone else do your crowdfunding for you. Unfortunately. But that's your country's fault. That's your country's fault. That's not ours. But yes, we were worried about Argentina because of I know things were going backwards with the socialist thing or whatever. Socialism.
Come crowd your book, Argentina.
The truth is, FundmyComic is here for you. Anyway, sorry for the singing, guys. I don't have a singing voice anymore. Final.
You guys are tired.
Final payouts are processed in the native currency, except for most EU accounts, which are processed in euro instead, i.e. Czech Republic, Liechtenstein. Is it
Liechtenstein, I think.
My tongue. Liechtenstein. I'm Ulrich von Liechtenstein from Galdeland. Every time I see that, that's what I think of. Switzerland. Okay. They may be additional identity required for those places, depending on the country, and we do not report to governments, thus making it the responsibility of the creator to report. Okay? There still may be some issue with the way we process credit cards if you choose the Canadian dollar versus US dollar if you're in Canada. We will be sure to have that cleared up beforehand before we start funding on the 16th. But Todd is getting ready to take over to talk about the processing a little bit more, because that I don't fully understand all that yet. There is an additional 1.5% payout fee for non-US bank accounts and up to 3% for currency conversions on non-US accounts. So we can convert the currency, but it's going to cost you, right? Up to 3%. Unfortunately, many banks abroad force us into paying out in the local currency, which is probably what happened with Craig, Mad Ruth, and Indiegogo. They gathered the funds in US dollars, but had to pay out in Canadian dollars. So they would have to, maybe they don't have anything in their terms of service to say that they're going to charge an extra percentage for that. Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
And so maybe they would have to lose it from their percent. I don't know. I'm only speculating based on what we know now and what tomfoolery we've seen from Indiegogo.
Question for you real quick. The part where you were saying we don't report to the government, that's up to the creator. Are you talking about taxes?
Yeah.
So like, you know how like Indiegogo you get a 1099. We wouldn't
You'll
get
still
that
get
from
that.
you.
No, you're still going to get that.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. We control your thing, but we're not, we're not like talking to Canada.
Right.
We're not like, hey, hoser. You know, we're not doing that.
H Comics is asking why no Peru.
Why no Peru? Same reason as Brazil.
Yeah, probably. That's what I figured.
Yeah. Very low nexi. The nexus, basically, you know, I guess that's... What was that again, Todd?
That's... yeah, you had to ask.
It's like the threshold for which you have to pay taxes.
10,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that. So some of these countries have a very, very low nexus. And so it would cost a lot of money to work with them. So the banks don't want to do it. A lot of them have a lot of political unrest. They have cartels to deal with. They have crime issues that they're dealing with all the time. And so the banks just refuse to work with them. Back and forth. Like the relationships are so hostile and toxic. It just doesn't work. And so Peru is probably on the list for that very same reason. Because Brazil is on the list for that reason. That would be mine.
For the bank, it all boils down to risk and reward.
Yeah, it's too risky to work with those places. Let me get back. Okay, many banks abroad. Okay. Many banks abroad force us into paying out into local currency. We do not add any service fees to this, and those fees come out from the bank automatically on payout request. All bank fees are at the discretion of the banks, Stripe, and any other agents. We cannot change those fees, and they get charged during the transaction by the bank directly. We will refer to Stripe's terms of service, just like Indiegogo does here. So we take a 2% platform fee, folks. 2%. But the bank is going to take 3% plus 30 cents per transaction. That's basically what it is. I think Indiegogo...
That's across the board. That's not
across
just us.
Yeah. I think when I read Indiegogo's, I think maybe because they do so much business, they've gotten that knocked down to 20 cents per transaction, but it's still 3% plus 20%, 20 cents per transaction. So we may get to the point where we can negotiate those lower fees, but right now we're going to be in the same boat as Kickstarter and Crowdfunder and Zoop and everybody else. It's 3% plus 30 cents a transaction. So that's how that works.
Yeah, it's still only 5% as compared to what, 9?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And when you add that 30 cents, even the 20 cents, it's more like 10% that they take. Right. So it's like, yeah, you're still at 5.5% with us. We do not collect VAT tax. It is the responsibility of the creator to accept, remit, and pay VAT/sales tax for their product. We do not send a 1090Ks at the end of the year for each account as per IRS requirements. I'm sorry, we do send 1099-Ks at the end of the year for each account as per IRS requirements. My bad. We do. So yes. Ray's back. Welcome, Ray. Get you back in there.
Sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
All right.
No worries.
We reserve the right to change these terms with or without notice. We will attempt to provide 21 days notice, but are not required to. So if we're going to be very nimble during this process, and we may pivot or juke or duke or whatever you call it very quickly throughout this whole process. So
especially the first couple of weeks.
Yeah. So if we need to adjust terms of service, we will, but people will be notified by email. We're going to try to give you notice prior to at least 21 days, but we're not required to That's just a courtesy that we want to.
Well, I mean, after what Indiegogo just did, doing it on the same day might be nice. Did you guys notice that on like everybody got an email like on the 7th or 8th about their new terms of service change, and it took place on January 1st.
I didn't.
So it was like it was a whole week late.
I didn't even get that email.
No.
No.
I've
still yet to get it. Not all accounts have. Yeah, not all accounts have gotten that email yet. In addition, there are rules surrounding. Wait, I messed up here? I think. No, I'm good. In addition, there are rules surrounding arbitration, both internationally and in the U.S. We charge for arbitration, and any cases of arbitration brought against us that are found frivolous are charged an hourly investigation fee to compensate our lawyers. Don't try to sue us without just cause. There's some more. Oh no, I don't want to say that. That's blah 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 blah. Things in the background, blah blah blah, that we'll have ready for launch time. Yeah, that's all I got. Oh, in addition, what's a UI or UX?
User interface, user experience.
Okay. So they're working on that. Marketing is working on that as well. So we'll have some special information to send out to people about that once we start onboarding people tomorrow. We will onboard people. It will probably be late afternoon, evening, because if Dave doesn't get the code switched over, finished having it ready for us to play with tonight, he'll do it in the morning. And so he gets in at 9 a.m., which is noon, our time. So I imagine by then, sometime in the morning hours, so between noon and 3, our time, we'll have access to it. At which point we will run it through our little test and determine whether or not we're ready to bring people on. If there are things that Todd and I noticed that need to be addressed before we bring someone on, those things will be addressed, and then we will start sending out the invites. Okay? So tomorrow night, people should be able to start building campaigns and coming onto the platform. We understand that not everybody has a campaign they want to build and launch in a week or two. We understand that. But some people just want to go and explore. That is fine. You don't have to be like, well, maybe I'll just relinquish. If we send you an invite, take it. Okay? So,
yeah, there's a report a bug feature that they're going to have on the site. So if you get in there and you play around and you see something, then please do report it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna need you. Like that's why we're bringing people on early. Anyone that wins that lottery, it's like being a beta tester for a video game. We're asking you to find the bugs for us.
Be a beta.
Be a beta. Yeah, be a beta for us. This is an exciting time. But yeah, right now the slow up is auditing for the PCI and DSS compliance. And I read that off of a screen.
Wow.
Todd, what is PCI and DSS compliance again?
That's payment card industry, and I don't remember DSS.
Well, guess what? I have a cheat sheet. Let me look up what DSS stands for. It's down. Okay, where's my cheat sheet? I lost it.
Data security.
Data security system.
Data security, yeah.
Yeah. So, the goal of PCI and DSS, Dave, you're so great, is to protect sensitive information such as credit card numbers, expiration dates, and CCV codes from being stolen or misused. It helps to ensure that merchants and other organizations that process, store, or transmit credit cards information maintain a secure environment for doing so, protecting both the merchants and the customers from fraud and breaches.
You sound exactly like the training videos.
Seriously, I feel like I'm back at TGI Fridays. watching training videos in the back.
PCI DSS applies to any merchant that accepts credit or debit card payments, whether the payment is made in person, online, or over the phone. Companies that fall under this regulation and are required to comply with a set of standards and guidelines, which include requirements for maintaining a secure network, protecting cardholder data, monitoring and testing networks, and implementing regular security audits. Oh gosh, there's more. Dang it. I didn't read that far.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more.
PCI DSS audits are assessments that are conducted to determine if a company is in compliance with the payment card industry data security. Man, good God, that's a mouthful. The goal of these audits is to ensure that the company is protecting sensitive credit and debit card information from being stolen or misused. So, the reason why we didn't give people access tonight is because we got to make sure that everybody's information is protected so that we can go live on Monday with a very secure site. It's all part of trust. We want to earn your trust, folks. That's what it is. We're doing everything to give you freedom of expression. That's what caused us to do this. We want to give you fierce independence. That's why we are building the site with the features that give you maximum amounts of freedom that you can possibly get. But the trust that you're going to have with your fans and fans going to have with people that create the stuff they love, that trust it has to start with us as a platform. So we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence. We've partnered with a really, really good company ran by a really, really good guy. Okay? And they're doing everything they can to protect themselves and us, but you too, because they understand the need. The lawyers and the bankers, they know who we are. They watch our podcast now. They know what we're about. And that's why the language has been set up the way that it has been, so that everybody can be protected. If we do have a problem with your campaign in terms of service, please show some grace with us, because we are going to do our best to make sure that you're in compliance so that your money is free from any kind of issues, okay? We don't want to keep you from funding. That's not our goal. We don't want to shadow ban you. I hope I never have to ban a single user. Ever. I understand that might be a lofty dream.
No pun intended.
Sure, it's
well, I
going
can't
to...
lie. My wife is watching now.
Yeah. So I know people are watching. They know who we are. They know what we do. And so, but we want to earn your trust by doing everything right and above board and letting you know, hey, this is what's happening. This is why this got delayed or that. And I'll be honest with you, if it comes down to the wire and a lawyer pops in their head in the office on Monday, now it goes live, I think at 6 a.m. our time, Eastern, 8 a.m. Eastern. I can't remember what time the site actually goes live for people just to browse. I should know that, right? Right? I should know that.
That'd probably be good.
It's early. It's gonna be before I wake up.
You know what? One question I keep meaning to ask you, and I keep forgetting. What are the funding time periods? Like, are there set like Indiegogo? You got 30 and 30 with. Can you set 90 days?
Todd and I still have to decide that. We're gonna look at what the Serendum thing will, what Serendum can allow us to do, and we're going to do give as much freedom as we can. If the system isn't locked in to a set number of days, then we are going to allow you to do from 1 to however many days you want to do. I do know this. If you are funding, Dave has told this to us. If you are funding and something comes up and you need to adjust your funding goal, whether you need to increase it or even decrease it, you can contact admins, and we have the freedom to do that. We're not going to make a common practice of that, but we can adjust those things for you so that you have more freedom in your independence as well, so you can control more of your business. We are going to have some control with payouts. Like I said, we're going to have to determine that as well. So Todd and I may decide, we may just want to say minimum 15 days, max 60, and then it has to go in demand, or we wouldn't call it in demand, we'd call it something else, which I'm sure we'll decide by tomorrow.
Previous question with regards to go live and all that jazz, it's basically 8 a.m. Eastern time.
8 a.m. I won't be awake yet. I wake up at 8:30 on holidays. That's it's Martin Luther King Day. It's a federal holiday.
It is?
Yeah.
Nicholas is asking will our campaigns launch on day 1?
Yes. Out of Obscurity will launch, and so will Hybrids RPG. Both campaigns I'm building tomorrow. Well, tomorrow and Thursday. And I'll have them done for review by a couple people that I'll let see on Friday. And then we will have them ready to go live. We'll decide what time we want to go live. What time we're going to hit the button. So, I know Justin Sweet and Bunny and a few other people will be really pushed in the Out of Obscurity, and myself and Nick and a couple other people will really be pushing the Hybrids. So we're going to have to split, but we have to split because they were staggered. Out of Obscurity was supposed to be on the 1st, and Hybrids RPG was supposed to be on the 10th. And then Indiegogo decided to go crazy on us. And so rather than give them any money at all, we're going to do it on our own platform. And so we decided to hold off both for this launch, which we also thought that the platform would be initially up by around Christmas or New Year's. We initially thought that. But again, just to do this right, to make sure everything's in compliance, we wanted to make sure that, I think it's better to wait a couple of weeks than to push something and wind up with egg on your face. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Todd?
And even pushing it out a couple of weeks, you still might wind up with a little egg on your face, but at least it won't be three eggs. It'll be one,
Yeah.
Right.
Or it doesn't. I don't want to... Yeah. It's like...
Well, I think, everybody understands... What's that?
It's an omelet's worth, maybe.
Like I say, I think everybody understands that, this is a new site and there's going to be, small hiccups here and there.
Yeah. And we're doing this in record time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is what it is. And it's going to, after the first couple of weeks, it'll be really solid, I believe.
Yeah. Every bug report goes to Dave's desk. I think we should just put him on a coffee IV. I think we should just go ahead and send that first batch of 100 pounds of Crack-a-Boom coffee right to his doorstep. I mean, yeah, he's going to be busy. And I'm glad it's him and not me. In fact, what I said in our FundmyComic chat, I said, I'm glad it's you and not me. If it were me, I'd probably just tell them to go F themselves, and then I'd take a nap. Or F off. Yeah, I'd tell them to go F off, and I'd take a nap. That's.
Speaking of,
There's a problem with the
I've
site.
got a
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
family thing.
All right.
You guys have a good one. Thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
it's been 2 hours.
We got
Thanks,
this
Ray.
covered, right? We've got
Yeah.
this. Don't you worry about it.
Yep, I'm cutting. I'm
Right.
going to be cutting out. I'm supposed to be on another stream, but yeah,
See you, Ray.
this one's going over.
Later, Ray.
Later, man.
Dave says you're a forever fence to him.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I am the fence sitter in our little community, Dave. So, yeah, you could call me Fence. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And technically, every book is 18 plus. So we're just assuming every book is 18 plus, even if it's an all ages book. You know, if it's intended for kids, we're treating every book like it's 18 plus.
Well, the
It's
site is
safer
18
to do
plus,
that.
so
Right.
Yeah. And 8 a.m.
But I mean, like,
thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Like, if you were obviously like then we're like marketing an all ages book to like the parents of the kids who would buy it.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like if I was doing something like that, like I would always on any campaign, whether it be Indiegogo here, whatever, I would always say that this book is for this audience. You know what I mean? Because I don't want somebody going, oh, that looks cool. I'll buy it for my 13-year-old kid. No, don't buy it for your 13-year-old kid. You know, 17 and over, maybe tops. You know, like
yeah, I think that's where
stuff. Yeah.
You know, the campaign comes into it, and you know, just being open about what's in your book and you know what people can expect.
Right. Exactly. And that's on the.
If you don't
creator, I
show
think,
it
at
on
that
the
point.
campaign, then we're good.
Right.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah. So Critical Blast. No, testing did not happen yet today. That's what we're explaining. Testing is going to happen tomorrow. It's been a lot of back and forth. But like I said, we were able to get these terms of service, and so we can communicate these out today. We woke up to that pretty much. You know, it was. I was like, holy cow, someone was busy. Yeah, it was a book. Yeah. Well, it was the terms of service broken down into Lukeisms, so that I would understand it.
Yeah.
So
I scrolled and scrolled.
Honestly, if it's in legalese, I'm probably not going to read it. You know, most. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm gonna be truthful. I'm probably not gonna read it. The only reason I'm reading this stuff is because I have to.
I tell you what, keeping up with the trademark stuff has made my tolerance for legalese a lot more elevated. Like I had to yeah.
I was going through that stuff, all of the paperwork, as I was.
Oh God!
I'm like, man, this is freaking annoying.
There's so much because they don't combine it, right? So like, if you go
registrar
all
for
the way
complaint.
back, if you go all the way back to like Critias's first filing, if you counted every filing between him and Preston and me and this and Evie, every filing is its own filing, and they don't. Nothing really carries over. Every now and then something might carry over, but like if you don't see it listed in that filing, but you know it happened, that means you have to go find the filing that it was listed in, right? Like whatever they're talking about. Oh man, it's like you have to go to each page, and you got to go to each page individually, click on documents, go through each filing, filing number one, and some of them have like 22 filings within that one. Oh man.
I did trademark FundmyComic, so
good.
Todd and I technically both carry that trademark because it's held by our LLC, so
nice.
Which is held by us. So yes, we have trademarked FundmyComic. Rift Riders has been trademarked. Hybrids is in the process of being trademarked, so paperwork's filed. I don't know why that's the first book I did. I don't know why it's the last one I trademarked. I just kind of gotten that I should probably trademark that thing. I think at this point people know that's my book.
Right.
Well,
People
trademarks are expensive.
Yeah, it's like 250 just to get in the door, and then there could be some other fees on top of it depending on what you're trying to do.
$800. $800 to trademark FundmyComic, because not only am I trademarking the logo, but we also have to have a separate filing for the words. Which you know about that.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you had to do the two. You had to do the words, you had to do the logo, you had to probably, and then like, oh, well, we're not just doing it for this particular reason. We have 3 reasons why why this company exists. So that's another $250 each for those. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's...
Fortunately, it all fell under, like, software, web stuff, you know.
Cool.
So it all fell under that, what we're doing. So it was just the 2 350s. The 2 350s for the image, and then for the words.
The words, yeah.
On top of $100 fee for my accountant to take care of it. Yeah, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
People ask me, did you guys trademark Lightbringer? I'm like, it's in public domain. I don't have to trademark it. Anybody could use it.
Yes, I mean, we're doing everything. We're doing everything by the books. We're trying to do everything right on this one. And I'm not one to half-step things anyway. You know, I believe what Ron Swanson says. Don't half-ass 2 things. Full-ass 1 thing. You know? So, I'm really, really trying to just full-ass this thing and make sure it's done right. Because if it was just me, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But it's not just me. It's everybody and anybody that wants to use this site. You know, so I will tell you this. I don't know the exact number of people that Dave has working for him. But everybody, from the marketers, the designers, to the lawyers, to the bankers, everyone is 100% balls to the wall with this thing. Everyone wants to get this thing done. There are so many people working on this silly little dream. And it's almost overwhelming to think that so many professionals are looking at hashtag uncancelable. Deplatform this, suckers.
Hell yeah.
You know, that was the first site. Like, the first page, it said hashtag uncancelable, deplatform this. That was it. That was I had the crowdfunding page site. That was the holding page that had the Hybrids trade paperback on it. And nice. And I could create other users from that site. I could have up to 50. And that was my thing. It was originally called Luke Stone Studios Crowdfunding Network. And I was like, that's a stupid name. And then Pixel named it. He was like, it's a shame FundmyComic.com's not available. And I'm like, oh, contraire, mo fair. It is available.
It's not anymore.
Yeah. So I got that one. And that's what started the whole thing, you know. But yeah, it was to think that little dream now has got all these professionals working with it and behind it and for it.
It shocked me how much goes into just every step of the process.
Yeah.
It's been eye-opening for me.
Well, it's what Dave said. He goes, any developer can write the code.
Yeah.
It's all of the paperwork that you have to have in place to do it legally and right. He goes, because when I said, hey, I think some people might try to beat us to market with something. He said, no, I don't think so.
Good luck to him.
Yeah. He goes, I don't think that's going to happen. Just so subtle. That's me. I woke up from my nap with such a subtlety about myself. That's pretty funny. But yeah, a lot of people are working on this. It's going to be, I can't wait. I mean, we know what the interface is going to look like. We've seen the build out of what that is. I can't wait to be able to go around and kick the tires and poke around a bit with you guys, with the people out there. I'm sure I'm gonna get feedback like, this sucks or blah blah blah, but I really hope that we get feedback where, man, this is great, man, I'm glad you did this, because we're already getting a lot of positive feedback for that.
Or if something does, like, if somebody isn't a fan of a certain at least explain why. Don't just say it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this sucks. Well, why? Why does it suck? Maybe I can make it better. If I can, I can't. But maybe I can. Just tell me
because we do have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we may not be able to change it right away. And depending on how deep that feature goes, it may take a minute. But we will
might have
be
to
able
be like
to
a
adjust.
site-wide update, so you might have to wait. You know what I mean? Like till like the next time you have a bunch of shit lined up, ready to ready to go. But
I think they call that A/B testing.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like the criticism, like same way that you would want to criticize like a comic book. Like don't just say, "Oh, this sucks." Why does it suck? Does the story suck? Does the art suck? Does both suck? Like what's the problem with it for you? And we'll see if we can. Well, not we. I'm saying as a in with the site. I'm saying we.
No,
I'm saying we.
It's for the community. Like people.
Yeah.
It's we. I mean, we're building. We gave Dave a list of requests from ourselves and the community. My initial request for this were based off of feedback I got from my backers.
Nice.
So the store feature was because my backers said I would really like to be able to do more of an a la carte type tier. Like I would like to go in and pick what I wanted and just what I wanted. And not one or two. I'm talking a pretty good chunk of people said that. That's what they wanted to do. So, and like, well, why not just put everything on the front and they can choose? Instead of like, oh, well, this piece of art is either sold by itself or it comes with this cover. But you didn't want that cover. You wanted this cover. I want the art and I want this cover and I want that cover, and then I want this card or this print. And then I want to check out and I want to go about my business and wait for you to fulfill.
Yeah.
That's why we decided to go with the store type shopping cart.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The add-on feature for Indiegogo was a nice thing that came along, but it's still a little bit of a hassle, right? Because you got to click on the one thing, then it takes you to the other thing, and then you got to find it again, right?
Yeah.
And then click on it again, and then if you want something else, I don't even think you can add something else after the first add-on.
No, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. So
as far
like,
as I
so
know,
like if
you're
you
pretty much done,
yeah, you have to click on every add-on, and then once you hit continue to checkout, if you screw up, then you got to start the whole process over. Otherwise, So
I mean, for convenience, if you could just go down the list. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that too.
Right.
And just throw it over in the shopping cart when you're done. Hit your shopping cart icon, and then go check out. That's what I want to do. Just make it an easy, fun experience, like you would do any online shopping. Crowdfunding is not like that. One of the things we requested, and I'm not sure if this is wrapped up into phase 1 or if it's going to be phase 2, is that funding doesn't include shipping. Like when it's tracked, like we collect shipping, but it doesn't for your total funding. It only calculates the cart.
The subtotals.
Based on what you bought, not
yeah. So I'm not sure if we're getting that right away or not, because it's not been. Again, some of these things, it's like, oh, well, that can come later. That's not that big a deal. Like, what's most important is, especially when we saw what was happening with crowdfunding and it became such a major issue, we decided that we needed to make sure we could come to market as fast as possible.
Quickly, yeah.
And folks, keep in mind, this is a 3-month turnaround so far, okay? 3 months. We went from, I was on another platform, with another developer, and that did not work out, to we're getting ready to open up a sports car kind of thing. I had a little Fiat, which is not bad, But now I've got like a Maserati. You know, this, I mean, there's a big difference in what we're talking about here. Coding and likewise, you know. So, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
And I can
as a
say,
person
like,
who writes code, I can say 3 months is a short time.
I was just gonna say, like, you mentioned like having people beat you out to market. I'm glad like you won the race, and I know that there's other people working, and I do hope that they succeed too, because it'd be nice to have like the censorship-free versions of both Kickstarter and Indiegogo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little competition doesn't hurt, you know. But one has to lay the groundwork, and I think you guys are doing that, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like
I definitely our model is probably more Indiegogo than Kickstarter. So you're going to see more features that are akin to that,
right?
Than you will than that. Yeah.
Howard, the Kickstarter's a little antiquated.
Yeah, he wrote E.T. for Atari in 5 weeks. I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm pretty sure Dave wrote the code for this in 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the code for this was done in 7 weeks. The rest of it has been lawyers and paperwork. Yeah. He might be a genius. I don't know. That's still to be determined. We'll decide that later. I told him, look, hopefully we make you a rock star. Hopefully we make you everyone's crowdfunding Jesus. I tried to say that as a joke and not be blasphemous, but you know what I mean.
Right,
right. 3-month turnaround is a Red Sea parting. Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty close. Done in 5 weeks, yeah, but how did that turn out, RJ? Yeah, E.T. was pretty bad. Yeah, so we're hoping this is a lot better. But yeah, I think he wrote the code initially, at least the base pieces, in 7 weeks. Because he was like, yeah, I think I can have this out in 7-8 weeks. And the rest of this is what wound up taking so long. And when people say, well, if starting a crowdfunding site was so easy, everybody would be doing it. Yeah, they would. And no, it's not. This is one of the hardest businesses I've ever started. And I'm not doing most of it. I've got other people working on it. And Todd and I were talking about this the other day. This is the first time I've done a business where we've paid someone else to build our business for us, really.
Right.
I've never done that before. So it's a very new experience for me. And Todd,
I'd like to edit what I said. When I was saying that, I said someone has to lay the groundwork. That kind of makes it seem like you're going to be doing the work for other people. That's not what I meant. I meant somebody needs to be the trailblazer. That's what I meant to say.
Right. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I got that too. Honestly, I didn't want to be, we're at 2.5 hours, and as long as we normally go, I've already rescheduled my other podcast, and I'm ready to go to bed. Our crowd has come down to still in double digits, which is pretty impressive. Thank you guys for hanging out with us so much tonight.
I appreciate it.
And I'm just going to level with y'all guys for just a minute. I did not want to do this. I did not set out to, innovate, trailblaze, pioneer, lead, or any of that. Quite honestly, after the bout with COVID.
I was just thinking back to our conversation, and what I said Bob Stone said to me, and I used the word revolutionary, and I knew that was the wrong word. He said pioneers don't quit. That's what he said.
Yeah, pioneers.
Thank you. It just reminded me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
But I'll say this. The bout with COVID, the hospital stay, recovery, the church closing, all of that. I just wanted to mind my own business and draw comic books. I didn't want to deal with people. I didn't want to talk to people. I currently don't want to go back into ministry. I don't feel like that's what I want to. I don't want to do that. Maybe God wants me to, but I don't want to, because it's really hard to tell someone to go F off when you're a pastor. They frown on that. And I feel like my heart's not in a place where I could honestly deal with the things pastors have to deal with and do it in a place of joy. So I just wanted to rest, guys. I just wanted to chill out. Mind my own business, make my comic books, draw for other people, and figure out what life's going to look like now post-COVID for me. You know, not being able to play and sing like I used to, not having the same stamina that I used to, and having a myriad of other health issues that I'm going to be living with for the rest of my life. You know, that adjustment. And the idea of being a leader or an influencer or anything was as far out of my head as anything could possibly be. And so I didn't walk into this thing wanting to do it. I'm still not like necessarily here being like, oh man, I can't wait to wake up and go kick their butts. You know, I'm not, but it's one of those things where when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, all right, let's go kick their butts. You know, it's like, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know that that's what's there. And so the opportunity was right. The time was right. The skills that I've learned, the people that I've got, you know, that I feel God put in my circle, it all lined up and it was clear, you know, this is what I got to do. I don't know why starting a crowdfunding site is that important. I don't understand why. I don't understand why, you know, the other things that are going on. You know, I don't understand why this working in comics is more important than being in a pulpit somewhere. I don't know why, but I feel like it is for me. So I got to give it my all. And it just so happens that it puts me in a place where I get to be the tip of the spear. When quite honestly, I would just be really happy being the post the horses are tied to. You know, Mad Roo says free speech is important. And I think it is. You know, maybe part of the reason is, and I think this is always in the back of my head, and Anthony, I don't know where you're at in your religious viewpoints, because it doesn't matter. I don't really talk, you know, that doesn't change my opinion of you. So I apologize if I get kind of too meta a little bit with my faith, but it's always in the back of my head that I worry about when are the Christians next on the chopping block, figuratively and literally, you know?
I think they already are.
I think they are too. Yeah. And I'm kind of seeing that. I mean, even before I left the ministry, I would say things that were truth from the Bible that I should never have to defend to other Christians as being truth. And I was attacked by other believers for having the viewpoint that is strictly just what the verse says verbatim. Like, indisputable things the Bible says.
Yeah.
Attacked for adhering to that.
Like you see, like, I've just noticed, because, you know, it started off, like, especially with, like, the attacks on, like, conservatives. Like, yeah. it was like, you know, conservatives. And then all of a sudden it started becoming Christian conservatives. And then you start to see people try to bend the way they talk or believe or how they appear to believe in their faith to try to conform so they're not attacked. And that's probably what you're experiencing with these difference of opinions within the faith.
We call it progressive Christianity, progressive theology, where they adopt the progressivism of social justice warrior, where they adopt critical theory, critical race theory, laws of intersectionality, all of those Marxist theologies, they start teaching them in church. And that's a problem for me. You know, as a guy who's a student of theology, that was a problem for me. And so when God said that I could sit down, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I'm done being the morality hall monitor. You know, I'm done fighting. I don't want to fight with people. I'm sick of it. But what's funny is I'm more of a fighter now. post snap than I was before. Nick will tell you that.
Well, it's funny because I'm
bone up
not
all
very
the time.
religious. I'm not very religious, right? I'm more of a studier of religion. And, so I've studied all different types of religions. And the ones that, I guess what you were saying, like they call it like progressive, Christian, it's not just Christianity that's adopting those things. And it's like, they don't, they're unrecognizable as the religions that you study, like that I've studied. You know what I mean? Like it's unrecognizable. It's like just call yourself something else. If that's if this is your new religion, like it went from Christianity, then Christianity kind of branched off, and you had Protestants and Catholics, and just call yourself something else. You know what I mean? Like just just take it to that next like. What's the saying? Logical conclusion, right? Take it to the next logical conclusion, and obviously you've elevated yourself out of this religion into a new religion, and just come up with a name.
But
it's
the truth is, here's why they call it still Christianity, is because they can't say that who they worship is not Jesus, even though the way they describe him is not the God represented in Scripture. That's not God anymore. That's not Jesus anymore. That's another God. That's a postmodern God that you're worshiping. That's not Jesus. But if they say they don't worship Jesus, they know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, that no man can come to the Father but through him. That he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, right? That we know that in the beginning he was the creator of all things. All things were created through him and by him, and nothing was created without him. We know that. So if we say that I don't worship Jesus, I believe in this new God, then they know they're apostate. Then they know they're in heresy. Then they know they're in a state of
then the whole
decay.
progressive thing is just a sham then. And they don't really believe in that.
The truth is, and they don't even believe in that. They don't believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. They believe...
No. What I'm saying is, if they know that, if in the back of their head they're like, I can't say this because then I'm gonna, burn in hell or whatever the punishment is, or whatever, then they already know that what they're saying when they do this like progressive Christianity is wrong. It's not, when I say wrong, I'm not talking about morally wrong. I'm talking about factually wrong,
theologically wrong. Yeah,
theologically wrong.
Yeah,
so, which means that whole thing is a sham and a facade. Just to get brownie points or to be a coward and not get attacked.
Well, you said it, I didn't. But your observation is astute. And in some cases, it's not as sinister as that. It's as simple as, well, I don't want to believe that God would be unfair. And so I don't think that that's fair. Well, the problem is our perception of fair, what's right and what's just, it's all askew because of our sin. And the only way we can really know what's morally right and just and fair is by reading the scripture. And what's fair is that I have sin embedded in me. And the only way to remove that sin is to have someone die for it, which is supposed to be me. It's my responsibility to die for my sin state. But God did the thing that was unfair and died in my place so that I could be then covered by his sacrifice. And it's like...
Well, then think about like the kids that are being brought up in that particular church. They're going to come up thinking that that's all legit, right?
They are, and that's a big problem that I had being in organized religion, is seeing that progressivism was creeping into everything. And the problem with that is, it's that now when you start to redefine what sin is, you start to take away the things that the sacrifice was for. And if Jesus died for no reason, that means that God is not a loving father, but he's a son of a bitch.
Right.
Because he made his only son die for no good reason. Think about it. Of course, that's not something I would say from the pulpit in those exact words.
Right.
but that is the problem with this thing. So what happens is it becomes therapeutic and moralistic. And that's all it is. It's therapeutic and moralistic at its core because it makes you feel good and it makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. When it doesn't have what Christianity was always supposed to be was, and we look at our depravity and we see what God did to save us from our sin. Now what we're doing is we're saying, I'm all right. There is no sin. Those things aren't really wrong. You know, we start to define sin based on our preference and not on what Jesus said a sin is, on what Jesus died for. Let's look at the list of things he died for, and that should determine what our moral compass is, right? I have plenty of friends that are alphabet people. I have no problem. I love these people. I want them to have love in their life. I want them to have joy and be happy. But I believe that the ultimate source of joy is faith in Jesus Christ, right? So I also believe that God said that lifestyle is a sinful lifestyle. And if I say that, now I'm a bigot. If I say that, now I'm unloving. But for me, the most loving thing to do is say, look, God says that's a sinful lifestyle, and that sinful lifestyles lead you away from him. I'm not asking you to change your lifestyle. I'm asking you to approach Christ. But I believe that the closer you approach Christ, the more you will depart from your sinful lifestyles. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I got into it.
Here's the thing, Anthony. If I think you're going to hell, right, and I say nothing, am I loving or am I hateful?
I'd say neither, but you're almost complicit.
Yeah, I mean, how much do I have to hate you to be your friend and let you go to hell?
Right.
Right?
You could just be fearful.
Yeah, I could be fearful, but I mean, if I love you enough, I'm going to try to keep you from going there. Right?
There's fearful. I mean, and then I guess you can argue the point that fearful could lead to, if you go like, fear leads to hate, hate leads to evil, the whole Star Wars thing.
But let me up this one more time, right?
I don't mean to make a joke of it. It popped in my head, like that's fear can lead to hate, which can lead to evil. Yeah.
Let me put it this way: if I know there's something really good out there, and you're my friend, shouldn't I want you to be a part of that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I have seen heaven with my own two eyes. I've seen it. You can't convince me otherwise. It's a memory. I smelled it, dude. You can't smell a dream. I smelled this place. The smell is still in my nose. I can remember it. I know it's there. So why wouldn't I want you to go with me?
No, dude. I get. Yeah, you have to like. I know what you're saying, and like you get called the bigot for it, and it's like. I got into back in the day. Got into Twitter, of course, but I got into an argument with Mags Visaggio, right? Defending Mike Miller, right? Because he made a comment about like how he wishes, same thing, wishes, anybody like that, peace and joy and love and all that stuff. And he made a comment about how a friend of his went to like a conversion therapy thing or something like that, and it apparently worked, right? So. All of a sudden, Mags and a bunch of other people were like, conversion therapy, you're trying to kill us, you're a bigot, blah, blah, blah. And I said to them, I go, you can't say that, right? Because bigotry is hateful, right? Yeah. Bigotry is like looking at somebody like that in the LGBT community and like viciously assaulting them verbally in a way that's demeaning and degrading. I was like, he might have these beliefs based in religion, but they're coming from a point of compassion.
Yeah.
Right? He's not being a bigot. He's being compassionate based on his beliefs. They might not be the same beliefs you... Like, that was my point to her, was, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was trying to, like, say, like, there's a difference between somebody who's trying to tell you something from a point of view that is against what you believe in, and somebody who's actually... Yeah.
With it. He's saying it out of compassion. Because he believes that if he doesn't say it, you're going to go to hell.
Right.
Compassion compelled him. Now, there are people that say it because they just want people to go to hell, and they want everyone to know it. I went to church with some of those people, and I don't care for them, and I call them out just as much as I do anybody else. I'm really not popular in most religious circles because I call out the Pharisees and the Sadducees alike. Pharisees being the hypocritical nationalist Christians, and the Sadducees being the hypocritical progressive Christians. I call them all out because I'm like, that's not... Jesus called them all out. If Jesus were alive, well, he is alive right now, but if Jesus were walking around in the flesh on planet Earth right now, people would not recognize who he is. They would not understand his ways. They would not...
Well, yeah, because just like anything else, certain people will, infiltrate anything, whether it be a group, a company, a religion, just to be able to spit vitriol disguised as something else. You know what I mean? Like, so you'll get a bigot who says he's Christian just so he can say, rather than say what you were saying in a compassionate way, or like Mike was saying in a compassionate way.
Yes,
they're going to say
if Jesus were here in the flesh.
They're going to say
Jesus were here in the flesh.
Yeah,
He's here in the spirit. Yeah.
They're going to say in an accusatory way, right? They're going to be like, "You're evil because you laid with a man," or whatever. Yeah. How I can't think of I'm not like that, so I don't know what they would say exactly, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And they hide under the guise of, well, it's my faith.
Woe is he who lies with a man as a woman.
Yeah, it's not your faith.
Yeah.
You adopted a faith to confirm your bigotry. There's a difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those people have to be like pointed at. Yeah.
But when you say those, woe is he, or woe is she, that woe is not meant to condemn. That woe is for compassion. It's love.
Right.
See,
but it depends on how you say it, right?
I'm a firm believer that as a Christian, I need to say everything that I believe in truth, but from a standpoint of love. But the problem, to get back to where we were talking, is those viewpoints are being silenced. And if I say those things on either of those platforms right now, I will be deplatformed.
Mm-hmm.
Someone can go after my YouTube right now because we've had the conversation. And I've said publicly what I believe in faith, which up until a few years ago had been believed and understood by people for more than 200 years at least.
Probably longer, right?
Longer, like 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and not to take it out of
in America,
theological.
The last 200 years.
Right. Not to take it out of the theological, but and maybe people aren't a big fan. I like Tim Pool, but like he used to say stuff like, I get it if you can't stand, bring it just to political, but it's the same thing that you were just kind of saying. Like, and I brought up the kids earlier that are being raised in this. He was saying, he used to say, well, I get it. If you got a family, you can't speak up because you don't want to lose your job. You don't want to get canceled. And his tune has totally changed. He's like, listen, if you don't speak up, then you're, the left likes to say silence is violence. And I'm saying silence is defeat. Yeah. And basically, he's like, if you don't say this, if you're standing there next to a leftist and you won't say what you want to say, and the leftist is sitting there screaming, well, that kid, all they're going to hear is that leftist screaming, and that's going to be the normal to them.
They think that's truth,
right?
Because you didn't contend it,
right?
See, that's the thing. The Bible, especially in the Book of James, said it's said, brothers and sisters, that you should contend the faith, and that means that's kind of a fight. That's an argument, you know. And I hate to argue about Scripture because I don't think there's anything to argue about or debate about. But the truth is, there have been arguments and debates about it. But if you don't speak the truth and you don't speak it in love, then who will, right? In fact, the Scripture says that if you don't cry out, the very rocks will. Well, this stone's going to cry out, so no stone out there has to. That's just the way it's going to be for me. And so part of the reason for building this platform for myself was to ensure that when they come after me, not if, but when they come after me for speaking the truth in love, I will be protected. Todd and I prayed about this a lot, and we talked about it. We have pretty solid Christian beliefs. We both share that in common. Todd is probably better at execution than I am, especially now. I'm a lot mouthier than I used to be. All of my filters are gone. It's why I say things like, well, if God sent his son to die for no reason, he's a son of a bitch. You know, things like, oh, I can't believe you said that, but is it not true? I think Paul said stuff like that too. If you really look at the language that he used, like when he,
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he used really harsh language that people were like, whoa, dude.
I guess for the
out.
time, yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when it says that even your best deeds are like filthy rags, the term filthy rags, if you look at the Greek that he used, meant menstruation rags.
Ooh,
so he said, even the best thing you have to offer in life is nothing more than dirty tampons. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Well, I have to say this. As somebody who's not very religious, I have to say this. I was brought up Catholic in a very religious home. Most of my morals, and I would have to say most of this country's morals, come from like a Judeo-Christian set of morals.
They do.
And without those, you could, and I don't want to do that. I'm not, but like if you are not, like, even if you're an atheist, if you could just take those morals out of the religion. I'm not an atheist, by the way, but I'm just saying I know people who are, and like my buddy Matt is, but he knows his morals, right? Like he knows that, he has those same morals. He just took the theology out of it. But as long as we all have that foundation as a country, again, I'm bringing it kind of back to the politics, but I worry about this because I'm watching like religions get taken down. Mm-hmm. I'm watching political ideas get taken out. And some of these things are things that I don't even agree with, but I'm watching it, but I understand that they need to be there. Right. Yeah. And again, I'm the old school 90s liberal who's watching conservatives get silenced. That's what brought me here to begin with. And I'm like, that's not right. Even if I don't agree, even if I'm sitting down doing kitchen table politics, arguing about semantics over certain policies, I miss those days, right? I really do. I miss those days of arguing with my uncle who's like a Reagan Republican, and I'm like the old school liberal guy. And now we're liking each other's tweets because these bigger problems exist now that are unifying normal people. And I'm going to say normal people because these other people are not normal. I used to think the far right, I call the far right not normal. I'm going to call the left, and I won't call them liberals because they're leftists, Leftists. And they are not normal. This is not normal. It's not normal. I don't care how degenerate you are in your adult life. It's not normal to bring that to anybody under the age of like 15. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about like actual physical stuff. I'm talking about even just talking about it. Like just like these books in schools and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like actually, no, if you're going to do the physical stuff, you better make sure that person's 18 and over. But when I say, under the age of 15, I'm talking about like,
talk about it in school? No, why?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why? Like, it was
Unless
awkward.
You're trying to groom them. There's no reason to talk about it.
Dude, it was awkward just having normal sex education classes. Like, I couldn't imagine what these kids must be feeling in their seats when they're getting shown these books, because I just remember like having the teacher go, "This is your penis and this is your thing," and just doing like the very like
to talk about my penis.
right. You know what I mean? Like the very biological aspect of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the stuff that kids probably should know. Like at the age of like 15, even I'm in my chair going, why?
When
why?
you get
Why am
aroused, blood rushes into your, and it causes an. No, I don't want to. I don't. La 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 la.
I figured it out. I saw it happen. I know what's going on. I don't need you to tell me. Yeah. You can, if I have questions, just point to it in the book, in the biology book, and I'll read it. You know?
I will take it home. I will lock my bedroom door. I will put the lamp on the thing, pull my covers up so no one knows I'm reading it. Just let me learn it in peace. Yeah. But they don't want. They just want to flaunt it. They want to do. And yeah. So I mean, it's. I saw that we were getting silenced, and I'm like, we're not too far behind.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing for me is, just the fact that everybody has a voice. And, I didn't want my views and, my opinions, my religion to be labeled as hateful or labeled as, not allowed just because, someone else disagreed with it. And, I don't want to do that to anybody else either. So
as a liberal, I'm going to take a little bit of responsibility here because we always had that like live and let live mentality. And I still do but it's like, whatever, do your thing. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. Right. And we just kind of, a bunch of us, especially the Gen X liberals, I'm going to say, we just kind of turned our eyes away where it's kind of like being like the manager of like an arcade, right? You want to let the kids have fun. You're just kind of walking around and stuff like that. But then if you turn around too much, someone's going to crack open that, the coin slot return and friggin' steal all the quarters out the machine. And that's basically what we let happen. We let a bunch of friggin' idiots rip off all the friggin' arcade machines while we turned our back. And we kind of let it happen. We didn't draw a line. We didn't say, yeah, okay, listen, I get it. Conservatives don't like this, this, that, and the other thing. But it's, even though we think it's fine, it's okay to be this, this little bit of a degenerate in your life if you want to be. But this is the line, guys. Like, once you cross this line, you are no longer like the rebel punk rocker. You know what I mean? Like, you have literally crossed over into
crazy town.
Yeah.
Now, as growing up as a Christian conservative, I even identified that those people over there, they were a little crazy when it came to the Christians that were dogmatic and militant in their faith. I was like, that is a cult. Like, that's what that is. That is a cult. That is not a religion. That's a cult. And I called that stuff out. And back then, we were kind of trying to do that. But people's... what happened was the people that disagreed with it left the church. Rather than try to mold the church to be what Scripture said it should be, they just took those people at their word and assumed that's what the Bible said, rather than read the Bible for themselves and figure out where they were off. I was different in the fact that I actually read the Bible, and then I would sit down and debate my pastors. I was 16, 17 years old doing that. And I would get detentions, and I would get yelled at, and I would be told that I was problematic, and that I was disrespectful, and that I was this and I was that, because I dared question the people in power. But it didn't stop me. But I left the church for a while, but I felt like God was saying, I need you to go in and mold the church from the inside, make her what she's supposed to be, help make her what she's supposed to be.
Right.
And I still feel like now I'm getting called the same names, but from people on the opposite end of the spectrum. And it's exhausting, and that's why I don't want to be in the pulpit somewhere, because I'm not going to not tell the truth. And I know I'm going to make people very unhappy when I tell the truth. But the truth is, they're always going to be unhappy, because the truth will always shine a light on the things in their life that aren't needed. Not necessarily, not even just not supposed to be there, but aren't needed for their joy. If you remove that, you won't be as angry, I'm telling you. But because, Jesus said it himself in the book of John. He says, look, they hated me first. They hated me not because I came to bring everybody together, but because my words put a bright light on their darkness. It exposed their sin. And they hated me for that. And if they hated me for that, what are they going to do with you? Like the potter, the clay is not greater than the potter. The vessel not greater than the creator. If they crucify me, they will crucify you. Right? And so I'm understanding that. I understand that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to religion,
is the path of the true Christian.
when it comes to religion, I have nothing but the utmost respect for everybody's religion. Like I love the certain amount of structure it comes to, and even being like the kid, and even and somewhat as an adult, but not so much as much anymore. But that pushed those limits into like I don't know what the right word is, because I don't want to say debauchery or anything like that. But like when you're brought up with a certain sense of morals, no matter, like I had a Jewish friend who was just as much of like a metalhead punker as I was as a kid, you know what I mean? But if you have those morals set inside you, you know what you're doing is wrong. When you're vandalizing the school or whatever, you know what you're doing is wrong. You still do it because it's fun or whatever, but you know what you're doing is wrong. So you know that there's a line that if I go further, this is jail time. If I go further, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain aspect of these morals that hold you back from being like a true criminal and not just like a punk kid, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a way to go about being that rebel and have fun. And yeah, maybe you cause a little bit of damage and you got to make up for it. You do community service, or you got to go knock on the neighbor's door because your mom makes you go apologize because you know it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Because you know you screwed up. But they don't have that sense, right? They have like this entitled, like, I don't care, I did it. And it is so weird, dude. Yeah. I've never seen people... I just never seen people with like such a lack of ethics and morals, like, and I don't care. Like I said, I don't care. Like my best friend for 30 years is an atheist, but he knows right and wrong. He knows he might not think he's going to go to hell, but he knows that he wronged somebody. These people don't see that.
One of my uncles was a drag queen. Okay, would do parades. I never saw my uncle in drag.
Right.
I never saw him in drag. He never talked about his sexuality to me. Even as an adult. Never talked about his sexuality to me. Not because he wasn't... I mean... He would have never had drag hour. At the kids' library.
That's what I'm saying. Especially like when you were a kid. Like I totally get that. I could totally respect that. Like the adult thing is probably more of a mutual respect type of thing going on there. But as a kid, like you don't just show up for Christmas going, "Hey," you know what I mean? Like,
well, the truth is, his sexuality didn't have any impact on how I loved him.
Right. Yeah.
So why should it even? Why should that be a part of our? Why should that waste time in our conversation? When we can
be a part of your dynamic.
Yeah.
Like my one aunt
was too short. He died when I was a teenager. It was too short.
My one aunt. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
I say adult, but I was technically a teenager.
But my one aunt, who's like, she's at every holiday. She's single, no kids of her own. She was married. They got a divorce, and stuff like that. She had stepdaughters that were my step cousins, and then. Whatever happened, they just kind of like ditched all, even the step, they ditched all of us. But there was a point in time where all of a sudden there was Aunt Bet's friend Diane, right? Now to this day, no one's ever talked about this, but it's like they lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean? Like
we know what was going on,
right?
We don't care.
I think they hid it a little bit more from my grandparents. For that reason. But they never talked to us about it, right? And it never came up. But like I went and spent a couple of weeks at their summer house and stuff. And then they weren't they weren't friends anymore than they were friends. But when they were friends again, they so they broke up and they made up as far as friend wise go. And my aunt's been, I think there was just a phase in her life. I'm going to be honest with you, because she still talks about men and stuff like that. But to this day, I mean, this is going back. And Diane, and we called her Aunt Diane for a long time. And she passed away. She had lupus, and she passed away. And it was a very emotional time and stuff like that. And they weren't together at that time. They were just friends, They were always just friends, in our opinion. But we all knew what was going on, right? Yeah. But, and it was just like one of those things.
Even if you care about their lifestyle, that shouldn't monopolize your conversation with them.
No,
that shouldn't
absolutely,
be the only
I agree.
thing that you see.
Yep.
Right? We're more than that. People are more than that. Christ died for more than your genitals. That's,
yeah.
It's to the heart of people. I like what Jason says here. I'm an uncle, and I would pay good money up front to get out of a discussion about sex with my nephews. Yeah, who wants to talk about that? If
Seriously.
you want to talk about sex with kids, you've got a problem. No. You're sick. If you want to talk to kids about sex, listen to the words I'm saying. Okay? If you want to talk to kids about sex, they're kids.
There's a problem.
You're sick.
Yeah. There's a difference between wanting to talk about it with them and having to talk about it with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I want to educate them. No. You want to talk to them about sex.
Do you think my grandfather wanted to have that talk with me? Because I didn't have a father, right? My grandfather was the guy who was in my life. We lived with him and stuff. My mom wasn't about to have that conversation, and my grandfather realized somebody has to have this conversation with him.
Dude,
right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So he came up, but he came up to me. He just goes, "Hey pal, do we need to have this talk?" This is exactly the sex talk I had with my grandfather. I go, "What talk, Gramp?" He goes, "About women." I go, "I've read Playboy." He goes, "Do you know what you have to do?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you know what happens and the consequences are if you do it and you don't take precautions?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, we're done." That was the sex talk I had.
I was a youth pastor for a large portion of my ministry career. I was in vocational ministry about 15 years, and most of that was youth ministry, and I was in lay youth ministry before that. Part of what I had to do was occasionally talk about sex. I dreaded it. I would let all the parents know, okay, it's that one time a year, I gotta finally deal with this, okay? So if your kid's not old enough or whatever, if you don't want them to be there, or if you want to come and be a part of the conversation too, you can come along and be a part of the lesson this week, right? Sit and listen and observe. Because it was very uncomfortable. We would have these lock-ins, and there's something about 3 o'clock in the morning when kids are staying up all night long. 3 o'clock in the morning, they've had a lot of caffeine, they've had a lot of sugar. At 3 o'clock, they feel like it's time to tell everyone exactly how they feel about everything. I'm going to go tell her exactly how I feel about her. Probably not the best idea. It's 3 o'clock. Go take a nap. Right? It's
Hyped up on caffeine and sugar.
Yeah. It's not great decision making is taking place at that time. And so one of the things that we had around 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a young lady say, I think I'm a lesbian. And I go, I really want to help you with that. Normally I would have my wife talk to you about this. But if you're attracted to her, I guess that would be a problem. I'm going to listen to you. But I think that this is probably going to be a conversation we need to have when we've both had a good night's sleep. And she's like, yeah, maybe. She's trans. many years down the road, made a transition. But we talked. We conversed about it. And I was like, we probably should talk about this later. And it was conversations we didn't want to have. We wound up having it with their parents. And it was uncomfortable. It was necessary, but it was uncomfortable. I didn't want to do it, but it was my job as a spiritual leader to do it. And so that's why I say, if you want to talk to kids about sex, you are sick.
Yeah. I just remembered when I told my grandfather I read Playboy, he goes, good, as long as you don't read Penthouse, that crap's fake. Meaning the letters, like the Penthouse forums and stuff, He's like, none of that. He's like, that stuff is just like, yeah. It was like his way of trying to make a joke in the middle of like a very tense situation.
Yeah.
What's up, Aaron?
Yeah. All kinds
of
stuff.
Don't get a girl pregnant because she's not living here. That's probably something along the same lines as something he said to me,
I think my dad did say that. He goes, I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
Because we're broke. We can't afford it.
We're all sinners and sins against God are equal. It's funny. I had that same. Do you remember when JDA got in trouble for like everyone was like he equated LGBT and pedophiles, and like basically saying like they were equal or whatever. And I'm like, that's not what he said. If you listen to what he said, he's just saying that they're sinners.
Yeah.
And there's no. It's not like there's first like in human mortal law we have first degree murder, second degree murder. There's no first degree sin, second degree sin, third degree sin.
Being a liar and being a serial killer are equal in the fact that they both send you to hell.
Right. Right.
It's like
so that's what and I was like,
one's greater than the other. It's like,
I was like, come on, guys. He didn't call gay people pedos. He just said gay people and pedos are sinners.
Yeah. Heck, I'm a sinner.
I'm a sinner.
I'm trying not to be. I'm trying real hard not to be. But I'll let you know when I get good at that.
Yeah, seriously, right?
But yeah, so I know, like Todd and I, we prayed about it, we talked about it, and I didn't want to limit people to my beliefs on a platform. I wanted to honor God, but I still wanted to give people the freedom that I wanted to be able to express myself. And so we both agreed with that our best way to be able to honor God is to honor people by being fair with the freedom to express and to speak. And then how we conduct ourselves in business, how we treat people in business, how we, and I'm not saying how we treat people if like Todd wants to be like, look, you're a friggin' idiot, hit the bricks. We're not ripping people off. Here's the problem. If you are a liar and a cheat and a no good, and I speak out about that, that's not a me problem. That's your fault for being those things. Right? If you're not a lying, no good, cheating, stealing, whatever, then I don't have to say it. It's only a problem if I say it and it's not true. So
I guess this is where like I don't know how you would even know this, but I'm kind of being facetious here, so just play along with me. But like, what if you lie and cheat to your wife, but like you put out a good product and you deliver it?
Well, I'm not going to cheat on my wife, and I'm going to put out a good product and deliver it.
We'll probably never know about it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Look,
right.
But the truth is, I want to honor God with the way that I conduct myself in business.
Oh, I wasn't saying you. I wasn't saying you particularly. I meant you generally. Like as a person who being on your platform would like somebody's got a platform, they're on their third campaign, they fulfill on time, everything's great, and it turns out like his wife, like it comes out, he comes out, he's been cheating on his wife the whole time. Does he get to stay on the platform?
Yeah. I mean, he's not breaking the business arrangement. I'll pray for his
That's
soul.
not against terms of service.
Right. Look,
Good answer, Todd. Good answer.
Look, we all know what Preston did. We all know about the ramrodding or whatever, and the cleaning off the instrument, with his mouth and all that gross stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If he was putting out good books on time and using the platform, I don't care how many videos are circulating around about him. When it comes to the business, that's not my problem. What's my problem is how I conduct myself in my personal life and in business. I'm not going to cheat anybody. I'm going to try to always do what's right by people. And then we're going to use the spoils, the increase that God gives us to benefit charities and people that are doing good work in the world. Because there's enough people doing bad stuff. We want to shine a light on all the good stuff. But
can I address? Sure. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just want to. Jason's like, okay, what do you say when your wife asks, "Does this dress make you look fat?" And then he says that dress isn't doing that. I actually
isn't doing that. No.
I had a girlfriend, and she took forever, right? Like if we had to be somewhere at 8:00, I would tell her we had to be there at 6 because I knew we were going to be 2 hours late. From the time, like what I mean, like we were always late. And she came up to me and we were late, of course, running late for a wedding, and she's like, finally, we were supposed to leave 20 minutes ago, and now she's just coming up to me going, which dress makes me look less fat? I go, whichever one gets on you quicker. Like, let's just get in the car. Let's go.
It is time to go, baby. Sometimes Becky like, how do I look?
She didn't like that answer.
She's like, she goes, would you even tell me if I didn't look good right now? She goes, I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, do you just want me to get out of the house? You just want to get out of the house and you tell me anything I need to hear for that to happen? I go, yeah, that's exactly true.
Yeah. I was a little more honest about it, and she did not like that.
Yeah. But, it is what it is. But yeah, I didn't set out to do this. It wasn't like, I'm gonna rule the world. No, that's not the... But I figure if I'm doing it, I might as well do the best I can, right? So, it feels sometimes with some of the business arrangements we're trying to make with people, it feels like we're building an empire. Which I think is kind of cool. Because we need something that's safe, that is censorship free, for everybody. And they've built their empires, and they hold all of the cards. They've got us by the short and curly, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we have to have an alternative. We have to have an alternative. Just plain and simple. I don't think there's any way around it. I think if we don't think we need one, we're fooling ourselves. Ray says that he's my father. Actually, my father is right back there on the shelf.
Aw.
Yep. What's up, Pops? Yeah. I made a really dark joke one night. It was right after I'd gotten the urn and he was back there. We were talking about selling our art. Someone said, I don't want to sell my art. It's so sentimental and personal to me. And you could see the shine of his... Like, you can't see it right now because I'm in front of it. But you could see the shine part off of the light shining on his urn. I said, you see that little shiny spot right there? Put my finger right on it. I said, yeah. I said, that's my dad's urn. I said, for the right price, it's yours.
Oh, fuck.
There were people on the panel, they had no idea how to respond. They do not get my dark sense of humor. And I was like, I'm joking, guys. I'm not going to sell you my dad's ashes.
I mean, come on. If somebody took you seriously, that's God. Come on.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're like, I'll give you $5 million. Well, I guess, Dad, you're moving.
So I thought you guys were done.
We should be. I should be. In fact, I'm thinking about it. I'm so tired right now. We've been at this
Yeah, I
thing for
gotta-
3 hours and 20 minutes.
I gotta jump. I would stay on, but I gotta run to the bathroom.
I think it's a good time to close out. In fact, we're all gonna leave Ray here. So you guys keep asking questions.
Awesome.
We have
I'll
not,
get back to fixing that website.
Yeah.
It's all
Hey,
good.
I want to thank everyone for being here. Thanks, Ray, for coming in earlier, helping us out. Todd,
Yeah.
you're always great.
Yeah, thank you, Ray.
Anthony,
No worries, guys.
thanks for being
Thank
here.
you,
The
Anthony.
conversation went a lot of places tonight, and it went in some fun places.
In some weird places.
Some weird
We
places.
started off trademark talk and got on to theological and political discussions.
Which, I mean, all
great.
kind of goes to the same thing, which is why we're building what we're building, so that we can have the freedom to do those things and not be afraid that we're going to be deplatformed. One of
Yeah,
the
I guess
things
at
I
the end
hope
of the
to
day,
do is
it
eventually
comes to
host
freedom.
Yeah, eventually one of the things I hope to do one day is be able to host live streams from my own website, so that YouTube can't take me down. Or better yet, maybe I'll just start a website that is an alternative for comic books and games. We'll call it.
I'll have
call
those. Yeah, go ahead. What are you going to call it?
We'll call it My Comic Tube. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I should have the YouTube answers by the end of the month.
That'd be awesome too. Ray, you're doing a lot of good work. I appreciate you very much.
FunTube.
Yeah, FunTube. Everybody. Now
Well,
I could get.
we're toying with that idea as well.
Come on. Just go with it. Let us degenerates have our fun with the name. Come on.
All right, guys, we're gonna head out of here. Everybody, check out Ray Haylock. Check out Dark Gift Comics, or should I say, Comicsgate Comics LLC, DBA Dark Gift Comics. I'm finishing up the article, and that should be out tomorrow. I hope so.
Are you sticking with the name?
I am. Yeah. We're doing
That's
that name.
funny. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
That's
gonna be
cool.
funny. So yeah, check out Todd. Check out FundmyComic.com. Sign up for that. And I'll be honest with you, I think if you sign up still tonight, you might have a chance in the lottery. Okay? So we're not discriminating, but we are looking forward to rolling people out tomorrow. Look for more information coming tomorrow and Thursday. Thursday morning we have Nerd Bacon. Nerd Bacon should be fun. We are going to be talking about the trademark thing again, and we're going to be talking about Wizards of the Coast gutting the indie gaming industry. Nick is going to have a lot to say about that. We might have a special guest. We might just have Ethan's empty chair. So you might want to check that out. We might have that this Thursday morning. So yeah, definitely do that. Check out Comics by Night, which will be Friday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, where Randy talks about some cool comic stuff with cool comics people. I can't think of anything else to say. You know what? Let's watch this one last time and then we'll leave. Here you go.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Hello.
Teste, okkitajai, maija hi, maija hu, maija ha, maija ha ha, maija hi, maija hu, maija ha, maija ha ha, vreista pleista, numai ei, numai ei, kipal touchi, tragostar tei, mia min teste, okkitajai.
What?
Imagine the bulls on that dude.
Oh my gosh. That's why he was walking funny. That's why he's walking so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, remember guys, we do the job, we get paid.
I do the job. And then I get paid.
Do the job and then I get paid. You folks have a good night. Thank you again for being here. This has been NerdCap. It's been more of like a nerd binge is what this has been. So check out fundmycomic.com. Sign up. People will start getting early access tomorrow. Thank you again, chat. We appreciate you so much for being here. God bless you all. Remember, build up more than you tear down. Leave the woodpile higher than you found it. And by all means, please, please, please be careful out there. I'm not going to play the song. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because that